It's time for the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games at Southern Utah University in Cedar City. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of a Utah sports tradition at utahsummergames.org. Participate in over 50 sports around the state. Then plan to join the opening ceremonies Friday, June 5th, presented by State Bank of Southern Utah. Register today to participate in the 40th anniversary season of the Larry H. Miller Utah Summer Games. Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
We're all locked in now.
Your home for the best sports radio in Utah is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to kick off your afternoon drive with Jake Scott and Ben Anderson.
Allow me to introduce the best of the best.
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. I do love this song. What's going on over there, Ben?
Doing well. How are you?
Just living the dream. We were talking about how glad I am that I'm not on television, and then I look up and
there you are.
There's the camera, right there, staring me right in the face. I wore my shirt with my daughter's picture on it today.
Yeah.
Because she wore her shirt with my picture on it, and she had to do a project, like a video project for school, and upload it. And I was pretty stoked. I was like, you picked that shirt to do your project?
You made the cut.
That's amazing. So I decided to wear it in kind today. I was pretty stoked about that.
Nice of you.
You know, you don't know if you're doing a just disastrous job as a father, and then, you know, your daughter does one superficial thing like wear a T-shirt with your picture on it, and you're riding pretty high.
You're a father. I'm a father. Christian's a father. My kids are older than yours. Your kids are older than Christian's. At what point do you know if you've done a good job?
I bet you don't.
You just never know?
Well, it depends on what bar. I guess you'd have to have a bar and a time frame. Like if they're not in prison by 18, like you're doing okay.
Is it case to case? Or is there a Mendoza line?
See, you know what? But I try to tell this to my brother-in-law. I take zero credit. Like people tell me that I have good kids. I really do. And people tell me that all the time. And it's like, it has nothing to do with me. I assure you. I don't know what it is, and they are so different from one another. Like, how would you ever know if you're doing a good job?
Sure.
The world's most perfect parent could easily raise a serial killer.
Yeah, right. Yeah. John Wayne Gacy's parents, probably great people.
And I have some dear friends who have become parents that are very unreliable people, and their kids seem to be amazing.
Yeah.
And by the way, to those friends, unreliable is a little extreme.
But love your kids.
But your kids are amazing. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't take any credit for it. I'm just along for the ride. I honestly just don't want to screw it up. That's
how I feel, too.
That's the entire bar for me.
Replacement level.
Yeah.
And then you make what you can of yourself.
Joe Ingles.
Sure. Great career.
Great career.
Yeah.
Really, really did better than a lot of people think. And I do think there were a lot of people that thought I would be just a dreadful parent. So the bar is low for me.
Okay. Did people tell you that?
No, but I think most people that know me consider me a pretty unreliable person.
Okay.
So there was that.
I think you're incredibly consistent.
Consistently, well...
I didn't, say what you were consistent in. I just think you're consistent.
Yeah.
I know what to expect.
I had to go down to IT and have them try and handhold me through something that should be really simple, and even they couldn't do that.
That's fine.
You're hopeless, is what they're saying.
That's not going to disqualify you as a parent.
Oh, yeah, well, I hope not. I'm trying it.
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. Can't get logged into a dang company website. Should be the simplest thing in the world.
Yeah.
All right, Ben. Thriller of a game last night.
One of the better games I've seen in a very long time.
I was watching it with my beloved wife, and she's not a sport. Like, she doesn't dislike sports, but she's not into it, you know?
Yeah.
And so she's talking to me about other very important things while I'm trying to watch the most thrilling double overtime game ever. Like I had to I reacted when Wemby hit the three. I'm just like,
Yeah.
And she's like, what? I'm like, I can't even believe you're not paying attention to this.
We put off reading. We try to read every night to the kids. And I was like, it went to double overtime. I don't know what to tell you, kids. Atticus Finch will wait.
Sorry, guys. Ben Anderson is busy.
We'll pick him up tomorrow. We'll figure out what's going on with the gang tomorrow. But and the kids don't want to read, so it was kind of a...
They were into it.
They were into it. They were cool with it. But, sorry, it was going till 9:45. You guys can stay up. I'm not reading to you till 10:30. So,
Got to see the end of this thing.
Got to see what happened.
Got to see the end of this thing.
And that's how you end up with bad kids.
I did tell my wife, though. I said I would be so grumpy if I were on the broadcast.
Yeah. That's not for you.
That's not for me. I don't like overtime. But for me on my couch, now I know how everybody feels about it. Nobody can identify with me complaining about overtime. I get it. Because when you're just sitting on your couch, bring on another overtime. Sure.
You're right. More basketball,
Okay.
free basketball. But you're like, got to get out of here.
We got an hour worth of show to do after this thing.
Yeah.
And then I got to wake up and go in and see Lloyd. I mean, there's nothing positive about any of that.
But you made it. And you did get to watch the game last night, and you didn't have to do any post-game, which was very nice. And it was
a thriller.
A fabulous game. This is what everybody was hoping for mid-season, seeing these two teams play the way they did, hoping that if they match up, we'd get another great series and it wouldn't be lopsided. And look, it may end up being lopsided. We don't know. But game one was about as good as you can ask for when it comes to the NBA.
It was. Let me put it this way. In typical me fashion, I'm going to take the shine a little bit off of Victor Wembanyama. So if you want to start by talking about his good aspects, I'm willing to wait. Which he was great, by the way. He was great. He's a great player. My daughter, when she was watching with me, said, "I'm cheering for the French guy." Yeah, because she's in French dual immersion.
Oh, right.
Yeah. It's like, yeah.
I, like everybody, was just amazed by what Wemby was doing. I'm happy to dive more into the nuance of the great and where I still have questions, obviously. But what he did last night, his first ever conference finals game, what was it, 41-23?
Yeah, pretty amazing.
Played 48 minutes, was clearly the best player on the floor last night.
Uh-huh.
You know, I will personally say I'm not quite ready to crown him as the greatest player in the NBA or the mountain that nobody will overcome for the next 3 to 5 years. I don't think that's what the NBA is, but I'm not going to pretend that I didn't watch greatness last night. That was greatness. That's what the NBA, great players becoming superstars, that's exactly what it looks like.
Yeah. We need to find the Dennis Green. You want to crown him?
Yeah.
The crown, because that's what I always think of when somebody says crown. Let's crown Victor the best player in the NBA. Yeah. I don't know. We should play his post-game sound and his back and forth. Because I kind of found it a little bit funny, but he definitely was motivated. I mean, we honestly don't know a whole lot about him and what I've heard some behind the scenes stuff, but he's obviously somebody that puts a chip on his shoulder. There's no doubt about it.
Yep.
You talked about his rivalry with Chet, who all but disappeared.
A rivalry no longer.
Who all but disappeared in that particular game. So, in fact, we can start with the sound if you want, and then I can go on to make my point.
Let's hear it.
Let's. So this is Victor. A couple of back and forth. Have you heard this yet?
I don't think so.
Okay, I want your thoughts on the question.
Okay.
All right, let's play this.
Mitch was saying that it's a pretty natural response for a competitor to see another competitor get something that he wants, whether it's the MVP trophy or whatever it might be. I'm just curious if that was in your mind at all, knowing that Shea had got that award and you were in the top 3 for it, and, did any part of tonight feel personal? Some of your facial expressions kind of look like you were really, really going for it.
Yeah, for sure. Everything you just said.
What does it feel like to see someone else get the MVP trophy right before you step into, I guess, what is basically the biggest game of your career, and then to have the best performance of your career?
Feels like I still got a lot to learn. And I want to get that trophy, many times in my career.
We talked a lot about winning an MVP and what goes behind it, whether it's political, things of that nature. Do you feel like, especially after this game, that you're the best player in basketball?
Do I feel like it right now? I feel tired. But it's not a question I'm wondering right now. We'll see, The world is 8 billion people, so it's 8 billion opinions.
Okay.
Well, thoughts on what he said, and then I want to hear your thoughts on the questioning.
I like Victor. I like Wemby. I like that he's not afraid to say, I want to win the trophy, and I want to win a lot of times. I like that. I don't mind. I don't mind Timothy Chalamet, though he didn't attack it correctly, I didn't think.
The ping pong guy?
The ping pong guy. Saying, I want to be a great actor. I want to be Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, Leonardo DiCaprio. I want to be in that conversation. I actually don't have a problem with people saying, like, here's my goal. I'm going to talk about it. Not to Ben Simmons it into a reality, not to trick you into thinking I deserve it, but I actually for myself want to achieve it, and I don't mind putting myself on the line by saying it out loud. So I like that about Victor Wembanyama.
Like that?
Sometimes you can't avoid it. I enjoy that.
What about the reporter?
It is a little bit of the, there was a former, Bill Oram once pointed this out about another person in the market, and he said, the problem with that guy's questions, or girl, is that every question is, do you think you're the best basketball player or the greatest of all time? It's a little bit of that line of questioning.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a great team or the single greatest thing that's ever happened in human history?
Uh-huh.
A lot of those questions are, clearly you're the best player in the league.
Uh-huh.
Do you see that, or is it just me? Like, there's a little bit of that line of questioning that I think you could read into what was happening there.
I do agree. And the first question, okay, so this is funny. I like to self-examine this stuff because I ask a lot of bad questions too. So I'm not trying to clown anybody too badly. And I hated when Greg Popovich clowned everybody for asking dumb questions. I felt like that was silly and kind of mean. So, but the question is, were you motivated by seeing Shea get the MVP tonight? That's the question.
Yeah. Period.
That's the question. Both reporters, actually all three reporters were trying to ask, which is kind of silly because as a basketball player living in the moment, I don't know how much you think about that sort of stuff. Maybe a little, maybe a lot. But that was the question. That's it. Were you motivated?
Correct.
By seeing Shea get the MVP tonight? But the first guy goes, and I just love you and love you and love you and let me answer the question for you and then let me love you and then answer some more and then love and love and love.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Everything you said.
All that lovely stuff. That's it. And then the second guy actually was on track. He was actually kind of there. And then it was like, but love you, love you, love you.
Uh-huh.
I thought was really funny. But yeah, that's kind of that feeling.
There is a weird thing, and like you talked about, there is a weird thing about being a reporter or asking a guy a question after they've just done something phenomenal, unique, out of this world, whatever it is, and trying to just trying to not match that equivalent of what they're doing, but that is the job. Oh, you scored 50 in a game. What did that feel like? Not, wow. Well, you were really looking great out there. How'd you do it? You got to try to avoid being that reporter.
But the projection is funny too,
Absolutely.
Like we do, and I'm saying we do try to create these extra storylines because we do love the soap opera. I've said it a million times. It's the world's best ongoing storyline. It never ends.
Yes.
And we love the narratives. Of course, we want to believe in our heart of hearts that Victor Wembanyama, thank you, Scotty and Coach, was so mad at Shea. He was so mad he was going to go deliver this historic performance. And, maybe it was. Maybe it wasn't. But we all want that, right?
Yes.
We all want that to be true. We love that. And we want a juicy. And there is something funny. And I wonder if he's trolling in a way. There is something funny about this reporter saying, I want you to talk about this thing that I love so much. Yeah. And he's like, yeah, whatever you said. Uh-huh. I find that funny. So maybe he has a good sense of humor.
Yeah, he's enjoyable right now. I'm not going to hold him to being enjoyable for the rest of his life, but he's enjoyable right now.
Okay, I do have a few thoughts on the game.
Okay.
Specifically with him, but we can get to some other stuff too. Let me start here. What was so annoying about watching Shaq is that he was very not skilled. He just ran over everybody in the league and dunked because he was huge and athletic, and the referees let him do it. Because it is a foul to run over your defender a dunk. It is. It's a foul. And Wemby gets the same whistle. He gets away with murder out there with the basketball. Absolutely. Now, I hated the way Oklahoma City guarded him. I really did. I don't think, Ben, when the Jazz tried that same defense against Denver and it kind of worked for a night, you were quick the next day to they haven't figured out Denver. This is this little fluky, put a small on him.
Elijah Harkless on Jokic and it might work.
And then help with your longer player when help needs to come. And that's what they tried to do on Wemby with Chet. They had Caruso, for crying in the gravy, trying to guard him. And I like Jalen, brother of Cody Williams, a little bit better, but he's still way outsized.
6'6".
And
he's legitimately might be 11 inches shorter.
And Victor is shouldering him into the hot dog stand halfway up the dang concourse, and they let him get away with it. And then the help from Chet is just too slow. And, I'm not even blaming Chet on that, Ben, because Victor's so long, he just dunks. He just finishes. I mean, the help does not have time to get there after Caruso is peeling himself up off the ground.
Right.
So I was trying to decide if it was quite on the level of backpack defense, like a pretty extreme defensive game plan to solve a really complicated player that just failed miserably. Miserably. Are they going to try that again? Do you agree? I thought the game plan for Victor was terrible.
I understand the approach. I think that's what you try and do with a flawed player. And I think they were trying to test, like the Velociraptors in Jurassic Park 1, trying to figure out where the weakness in the fence was. And they recognized there just might not be a weakness there. Can we get away with, Caruso or J-Dub on Wemby and then bring Chet over or bring Hartenstein over, whatever it is. And Wemby, I think, very clearly decided, no, you cannot do that. So I think they will adjust their approach there. And I thought that is what they were trying to accomplish in Game 1. And if it worked, great. It's a wrinkle to throw out at him.
It did not.
It did not work in the slightest.
No.
So
I thought you... Okay, so similar player in LeBron who likes to run people over, and you don't really have a whole lot of answers for it is what LeBron does. Gap the daylights out of LeBron was always the answer. And people say, well, yeah, he's going to pull up. He shoots 35%. It's like, yeah, but he shoots 100% from 0 feet.
Yeah, right.
So get off him, dare him to shoot that three. That always seemed like the best way to go with LeBron. And you can tell me that LeBron's still going to win a lot of games if you do that. Absolutely true. But you pointed out that with Wemby, as actually it works with Jokic too, but with Wemby, you got to lean on him the whole game. Yeah. Get the biggest, heaviest player you got, stick him out there, and make Wemby prop him up for the entire game. Yeah. I don't know why Hartenstein only played 12 minutes. That made no sense. And even of those 12 minutes, they didn't even have him guard him. You know how much energy it takes? Oh, it was funny. I was talking about my buddy Igor today to my physical therapist because he was on alone. And she looked up why Igor, his adventure there. And apparently Igor wasted all of his energy building like a log cabin or something and ended up not winning, or whatever. Like Wemby is dominating in double overtime. He's ready to go because how much energy does it take to run over Alex Caruso?
Right.
None.
Yeah.
None whatsoever. Right. And then he just stands there hovering in the lane on defense, spending no energy there either. And then he's beating you in double overtime while you're gassed. Well, no kidding. Well, why don't you stick the giant heavy guy out there and make Wemby work for it a little bit? I didn't understand that in the slightest.
You're right. I think Mark Daigneault tried to beat Wemby's brain. They tried to make him make decisions by saying, I caught the ball. I've got a smaller guy on me, but the help is coming, so where do I pass? Like, they tried to make him go through the process of, as a playmaker, of what to do with the ball in my hands, and hoping that he would foul up there. You admit not foul like basketball foul, like make a mistake. And he didn't. And I do think right now with Wemby, because I think he is quickly learning the game. I said yesterday, the problem with Wemby is he's going to get better every single time he plays, because he has the computer mind where once he solves the problem, he's gonna put it in his back pocket and he's gonna remember how to do it next time. That is LeBron's greatest. I mean, in addition to his superb body, one of LeBron's greatest strengths is he's seen every defense. He really does know the counter to all of it. Doesn't mean it works every time, but he knows the best outcome. Wemby is getting there quickly as well, and once that happens, you can't try to trick him any longer. You do just have to say, physically, we're gonna beat you up, and that's our best bet. And it's going to be hard on you. And by the end of the game, you will have fallen down 15 times. You'll have been fouled 10 times. And I hope you can't lift your forearms above your waist. That's going to be the goal for him eventually. And what I actually think is about to happen, and ironically, the Jazz were already very well set up to deal with this. Wemby is going to create a new economy of big men in the NBA, the same way Shaq did. There were so many lousy 7-foot, 280-pound players in the NBA when Shaq was in the league because you simply needed big bodies to lean on him. And Wemby's going to force the same thing. You're just going to have Jusuf Nurkic, not calling Jusuf Nurkic a lousy 7-foot, 280-pound guy.
But kind of.
But he is a 7-foot, 280-pound guy who's going to go out there and lean on you. And you have Jaren Jackson Jr., and he's going to lean on you. And Walker Kessler's going to go out there and lean on you. And then occasionally, maybe you throw a Lowry Markkanen on him and bring help just to mix up some looks. But it's going to be about having huge size. I do not think you're going to be able to get away with Caruso, Lou Dort, anyone small.
None of those guys. No, not even, like we said, Jalen Brother or Cody. Not even him.
You're going to have to go out and put Chet on him or Hartenstein on him and hope that they can just make his life hard physically, because I don't think you're going to trick him into making mistakes.
I don't think he can be Chet either. But, Hartenstein can't go or Hartenstein is how you pronounce that one.
Yeah.
I don't know if he can go the distance, but he needs to spend more than 12 minutes out there. That defense isn't going to work in this 7-game series. I think there's a reason Wemby went nuts. My second complaint about such a great game, I hated that 3 he made so much.
The Wemby 3?
I hated it so much. Listen, if you are Dame Lillard, Steph Curry, why do you shoot from 30 feet? What's the point?
Because you can't score at the rim.
No,
too little.
No, well, yes, too little in a sense, but it's space, right?
Yeah,
you pull up from 30 feet because your guy doesn't think you're going to pull up from out there, and he's not up in your face all the time. It's either that or run off 9 picks. You know what I mean? So they pull up from 30 feet, and that's really the entire point. Otherwise, you'd take an easier shot.
Mm-hmm.
Victor Wembanyama, 6 feet behind the line.
He's 8 feet tall.
Uh-huh.
He can shoot over anybody on the floor, probably anybody on the planet.
Yep.
Get yourself an easier shot, bro. Somewhere Rick Majerus is rolling over in his grave. Like you're just pulling up from there just cuz?
He certainly could have dribbled up
just
3 or 4 more steps.
Way more.
But he did hit it.
What's he doing?
What am I supposed to complain about? He did hit it.
He hit it, but it doesn't mean I have to like the shot.
No, that's fine.
So annoyed by that
you
shot.
sound like Paul
6
George.
feet behind the line.
Complaining about Damian Lillard hitting the series-ending shot over him and being like, it's a bad shot. It's like, it went in. What do you care if it's a bad shot if it goes in? But I'm with you. Yes.
I always hated that argument. Carmelo Anthony, I remember the first time we really had this argument. The Carmelo Anthony was playing the Jazz in the playoffs, and he was just taking these ludicrous shots. And some of them were going in. It's like, just because you make more ludicrous shots than your average person doesn't make them any less ludicrous.
Yeah, doesn't make them good shots.
Doesn't make them good
and
shots.
And the Thunder, and this leads into another point, which we can touch on quickly, will take that shot from Wemby 1,000 times
Absolutely.
out of 1,000. Please let him shoot that. Yes, he can make it sometimes. He makes the dunk every time. So go ahead and shoot that 3. And I know they were down 3. He had to take a shot, or somebody had to take 3.
No, but your point still stands.
it.
Rather have him shooting that than dunking in your face 100%.
I do not think that the Thunder played a particularly good game last night.
Oh, they were bad, in fact, at times.
For all the reasons we just listed. I didn't think their game plan worked particularly well. That doesn't mean Daigneault didn't run great sets and get guys open and create shots for Shea late in the game. He did. And all those things worked and extended it to double overtime. But I didn't think they played particularly well. It's one of the worst games I've ever seen Shea play. As we mentioned, Chet Holmgren was completely invisible. Just an awful, awful player in this game. Some of the shooters for the Thunder that have traditionally been very reliable did not play particularly well in this game either. And it still went to double overtime and took a 35-foot three from Wemby in the first overtime to send it to double overtime. Yeah. Or maybe it was regulation to send it overtime, whatever it was.
I think it was the first overtime.
If I'm the Thunder, I actually don't feel that bad about what just happened. Am I afraid of Wemby? Of course I am. We don't have somebody who can do that, and I don't know how we stop that. But I think our guys can play better than we did, and we didn't play well, and we still got to double OT. So I think this is a long series. I think the Thunder are going to win games in San Antonio. Clearly, the San Antonio can win games against OKC, and you adjust from there. But I think we're in for a great series, and last night was a good taste of it.
Well, Mark Dagnall did a good job figuring out what they were doing against Shea. And by the way, if you want a terrific breakdown of that, Coach Lacombe really gave a good one on Hansen, on Scotty and the coach, and I'm talking about Coach Lacombe. It was really great talking about the bracket coverage and what they were doing and what they were giving up. And they are game planning to stop Shea particularly, but also as a byproduct, Chet making everybody else beat them. Thus, Alex Caruso gets all those open threes. And they did get that figured out in the second half and down the stretch. And monster comeback in the fourth quarter and all of that. He deserves credit. But I thought his defensive game plan is not going to work.
That one will not.
I will be curious to see where he adjusts because I do think he is a pretty good coach. So I wonder what we're going to get out of OKC. I think they're going to continue to try and take Shea out of it. I mean, isn't that what you do?
No question.
And Wemby's effect on defense, I mean, the other reason to have somebody out there that's heavy that leans on him is his defense where he can just play safety is, what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. You know, you're either going to take every shot, it's going to be a three. I mean, they could not, they'd miss layups at the rim. And we saw this with Rudy for years because they're seeing ghosts, even when he didn't alter the shot. You know, it's
not dunking when they should dunk, trying to put a high arc on a shot that has no business being anything other than a layup. And then a couple of times when they did challenge him, he got the block. But yeah, they were absolutely scared. They were playing scared of Wemby, which I get. It's why I think shot blocking numbers actually matter a little bit more than some people think. I get that they're not all equal. We're not that smart of species. You get your shot blocked twice. You're not going to go back in there and try and challenge a guy.
And he only had 3 total, but
he scared people.
Yeah.
He really scared people. So, no, I'm totally with you.
So you got to figure out a way to they need to change it up a little bit. I do agree with your take though that Oklahoma City did not play its best, not by a mile, and barely lost.
Yeah, this is going to be a great series. I picked the Thunder to win this series. Probably still leaning that way, but Wemby's very special. He's one of the best prospects, maybe the best prospect we've seen in our lifetime. Certainly up there with LeBron, and he's paying it off.
Stay tuned. More Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
And now, Comfort, a poem. A warm bath with candles dimly lit. Lost in a serene...
And relief from my chronic dry eye.
A smooth glass of lemonade.
And relief from my chronic dry eye.
Brenda?
Listen, buddy, you're just not giving comfort here.
But,
for example, the Sequa solution starts to repair the damage to your eyes in as little as 2 weeks. It's comfortable from the first drop.
Sequa is a prescription topical solution for dry eye disease that helps to increase the production of natural tears in your eye. The most common side effects include eye pain and redness. Don't touch vial tip to anything. Use as directed, then discard. Wait 15 minutes before reinserting contacts. Don't use if you're allergic to Sequa.
It helps your eyes produce more of their own natural tears.
Oh, you're right. That's comfort.
Sequa. Visit Sequa.com. That's CEQUA.com and seek the for yourself.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Is Gwen Stefani, she still performs then? She's at the Sphere?
It's No Doubt, yeah.
Oh, the band is together
the band is
again?
Back together. For anybody will come back together at the Sphere, you know?
Yeah.
Because she dated one of the, it was like the guitar player or something, right?
Yes.
And then that ended badly?
Yes.
And eventually led to the, because this is just Gwen Stefani, right? This is not No Doubt. Okay.
Her brother was one of the animators on The Simpsons.
Arnold Stefani?
Funny family. Eric.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
Funny. Is she funny?
I wonder if she's still funny. I don't know. People have kind of
was she ever
turned
funny
on her. I don't know. She interesting.
I get okay, but I mean, even in her heyday, I didn't think like, oh, that song is funny. Kind of angsty.
Sure. She's a young person.
Right.
They're all angsty.
All right.
Christian.
Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com, brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, Cavs, Knicks, Eastern Conference Finals tonight.
Look out, bro. Donovan's going for like 35.
I believe that. He probably will.
I can't believe it.
Oh, Donovan!
Have we ever seen anybody get more credit for an 8-assist game ever?
Right. Especially a guard.
Maybe it was funny when Jordan Clarkson got 5, right? And everybody made a big deal about it in the locker room because he never passed.
But, like, yes, if when Ace Bailey gets 8 assists, people would be like, whoa, playmaker Ace. Or if Jaren Jackson does it, people would be like, wow, triple threat. This guy can really do everything. Donovan's a guard. Donovan's a lead guard. He should be getting 8 assists once every 3 or 4 games. Truthfully, it's just like the style of play in the NBA lends itself to that.
The amount of time that he has the ball, yeah.
You have the ball,
in fact.
you drive, people attack you, close out on you, you get into the paint. His skills are, designed for drive and spray, as they like to say. Drive into the paint, spray it out to the perimeter, somebody hits an open shot.
I want to see what his usage rate is, knowing I'm bringing it up, knowing that he's not an assist guy. Because usage is possessions that end in you scoring or an assist. And let's see, Donovan's usage, 32.2.
Extremely high.
That's a volume guy.
That's a lot.
Right, that's a volume dude.
Yeah, top 15 in the NBA.
So I've always thought, he could have scored more here with the Jazz. He bought more into the system. I give him credit for doing that because it remains. I don't think he's good enough to go it alone. And I think what got him past the Pistons was playing a little bit differently, as you pointed out, and I thought quite well. Get Jared Allen going. You're going to need something from either he or Mobley or both. So get him going.
Yep, no question about it. And I'll be curious if he comes out. The hard part for Donovan, and where I think his limitation is, despite being future Hall of Famer, a very good player, going to be remembered as one of the better players from this era. I'm not sure he's like a great determiner, decision maker in the moment. I think he kind of predetermines a little bit of what he does, which is a knock on him as a guard. I think he goes into the paint thinking, well, I'm either going to score or I'm going to drive and pass. And it's not, oh, well, I read this and so I made this very quick decision. I don't think he's a particularly quick decision maker. He reacts to things, catch the ball and shoot, catch the ball and drive, catch the ball and pass, whatever. I don't think he necessarily is the guy who gets into the paint, gets on 2 feet, and then decides, okay, I can see the defense coming from here. I'm going to kick it to that guy who's open. Despite the fact that he has a healthy assist average for his career, that is the difference maybe between a Donovan and a Jalen Brunson, who I think is a little more innate at it, or certainly a Shea, who is far more innate at it. Luka's much better at it. That might be the difference between Donovan and some of these other guards, where he's just kind of predetermining his spots. So he's going to come into this game thinking, whoa, that's got a lot of love for getting 8 assists. Guess what I'm doing? Getting 8 assists again. Because I just like that I got all the attaboys after that last game. And then he's going to come in and try and force it and not really read what's happening to him. And he's not going to be the best version of himself. Because sometimes he should go score 35. Sometimes he should score 20 and get 8 assists. I think he goes into games setting his goal and is going to do whatever he has to reach
You're
that.
just doubting him because he's playing your Knicks. Stop it. You're just nitpicking because you're personally invested. I got it.
Personally invested in the Knicks.
But I will say this, Donovan, whether it's Bridges or Hart or whatever, he's going to have a difficult matchup. But that's nothing new. I mean, Detroit gave him nothing but difficult matchups, and he did pretty well, at least at times.
I'll be curious what the approach is. Again, different than Victor Wembanyama talking about the last segment. There are probably some more solutions. He's going to get his. He's going to score 20 every game in this series or close to, probably have some 30-point games in this series because he's that type of player, and the league lends itself to guys like Donovan Mitchell at the moment or Jalen Brunson at the moment. They can get points. The question is it the most valuable points? Is it the right points? And is it just something the Knicks are saying, well, we're happy to live with that? It's very possible.
How many shots has Donovan taken now in the playoffs? He took 20 during the regular season.
He is taking 21.4 field goal attempts per game.
All right.
Yeah, it's not a crazy high number.
No. Now, it would help Cleveland if James Harden didn't turn it over 15 times.
Uh-huh.
But we'll see how that goes.
He had a huge game 6, right? He had his 30-point game in game 6 and sent it back to no, they lost game 6.
But the nightlife in New York.
It was game 5. He had a huge game 5 to send it back to Cleveland with a chance to close it out, and they didn't close it out.
The nightlife in New York is serious.
Better than Detroit.
But I don't know.
I know it's better than Detroit. Unless you think he's really going out to get music. Oh, man, other people.
I don't know. I'm not familiar with the nightlife of Detroit.
But you're familiar with the nightlife of New York because you have a casual understanding of how the world works.
But we're not talking about Broadway shows here. We're talking about his particular venues. Are they better in Detroit? They could be. They're better in Atlanta, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know about New York. I'm sure they're known for that.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
Number 2, Wemby had a big game last night. Did he declare himself as the best player in the NBA?
Certainly making an argument for it. I think it's going to result in a finals appearance and probably a finals victory to fully achieve that. But it's on the way. It certainly feels like it's on the way. But again, saw a great tweet about it today. Frank Madden, who covers the Bucks or used to cover the Bucks, had it. The league just changes so quickly. There's a reason we've had 8 different teams win 8 titles in 8 years. Never seen this before, but the league is changing in, the blink of an eye, more so than it ever had in the past, where if you won a title, you were overwhelmingly the favorite to win it the next year, and everyone feels that way. You and I talked on our show. This is probably the first team, this Boston Celtics team with Tatum and Brown, that's going to become a dynasty. And then they didn't. And then it was this Thunder team, looks like the team to me that's probably going to become a dynasty. Now they're down in the series, and everyone's looking at the Spurs as the next dynasty. And then it changes next year. It always changes.
Oh, I still expect Oklahoma City to win.
Yeah, it's very possible.
What's next?
Number 3, you guys will love this one. Former Jazzman RJ Lewis Jr. has committed to LSU.
So RJ Lewis entered the draft last year.
Mm-hmm.
He goes undrafted. I think he's St. John's. I think he comes out of St. John's. Was a pretty good player. Was a borderline draft pick. Never got selected. Jazz made him a priority 2-way guard right after the draft. I think they signed him on draft night to a 2-way deal. Then the Boston Celtics call and say, hey, Austin Ainge, we got to get off of this George Niang guy. We hate him, and because everyone hates George. And so how do we move him? And Jazz said, we don't hate him as much as you might, so we'll take him back. And they said, well, we can't take any money back. We can't take anything back from you. How do we get him? And they say, well, we've got this guy, RJ Lewis, that we don't really care about. He's on a 2-way, and they said, cool, we'll trade you George Niang for RJ Lewis. So RJ Lewis goes to Boston. I don't know does he play for the Red Claws, the Maine Red Claws? Never plays in the NBA, but it might have gotten some G League time. Gets cut or traded again. Maybe even when the Jazz traded John Tonji to them, another two-way player traded to Boston, and doesn't make it in the NBA, never gets real guaranteed money, and has decided to go back to college, trying to get his two-way deal. Which, by the way, not the first. We saw a lot of two-way guys, or not two-way guys necessarily.
It was G
League guys playing college this year, including at BYU.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure I'm as up in arms about this as other people are, based purely on precedent alone. Do I hate it as an idea? 100%. You leave college, you're not welcome back. But it's not like he's the first guy trying to do this.
I'm going to reset a previous take. Caitlin Clark should go back to college. She should.
Why not?
How much would, I don't know, how much would UConn pay for Caitlin Clark to go back to college?
Right.
Gazillions.
Yeah.
Way more than
as you can.
Way more than she's making in the WNBA. And women's college basketball is more high profile than the WNBA. Although the WNBA is getting more shine than it's gotten before, so maybe it's on its way. But I would still say the women's NCAA tournament is a bigger deal than the WNBA. Caitlin Clark should go back to college.
Yeah.
Plus, they treat her badly.
Uh-huh.
It'd be like, I'm getting my eyes gouged out up here. I'm going back to college. And then sue to stay. And say, hey, you can't force me to go. What do you mean eligibility? Where's that written on Mount Sinai?
Yeah, show me where that is. By the way, I don't think RJ Lewis ever played a G League game. So why are people fighting this?
He technically doesn't have any eligibility left.
Okay, he left, so he used up his 5 years?
He played 4 years, but he didn't redshirt any.
I think he only played 3 years. UMass, 2 years at St. John's. So I don't even think he exhausted his eligibility. No, I know he didn't because he was the only player last year. I remember I wrote this article. He was the only player in the draft last year who was technically an underclassman, meaning he had eligibility left to declare early and not get drafted. He's the only player. Everybody else who had an eligibility left went back to college or got drafted. He was the only guy who didn't. And I was not making fun of him, but I made note of it at the time. That dude left millions of dollars on the table. The way you're talking about, Caitlin Clark could have made more money in college than she does in the WNBA. RJ Lewis could have made more money going back to wherever, UConn. Go back to St. John's, transfer to Kentucky, transfer to BYU, whatever, and get a huge payday, but he decided he wanted to go try out for the NBA even if he wasn't going to get drafted. And he didn't. And now he wants back into college. He made a mistake. Gonna punish him forever for it?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't care. If you don't want to let him back into college, I don't have a problem with that argument at all. He's just, again, we saw lots of former G League players who had actually played in the G League play in college last season.
I don't like that either, honestly. I really don't care about this particular circumstance. And on the list of things to care about, this seems pretty low. I think that once you go pro, that your college days, what we used to call amateur days, are over, and there was a hard and fast line there, but they erased all the rules. So
yeah, they have changed that.
Doesn't mean I have to like it.
In fact, Abdullah Ahmed, who played for BYU last year, who stunk out loud. That guy was not good at basketball, despite the fact that he had apparently been in the G League. He's playing for his next college already. He left BYU. He was going to UMass, ironically, where RJ Lewis started his college career. But yeah, we've set this precedent. You're welcome. You can come and play. Now, I know they tried to change it. And there was the Baylor kid who tried to go back to Baylor and committed, and the NCAA ruled he was ineligible. But yeah, case to case, I don't know. There's a chance Sorsby comes back and plays at Texas Tech. I don't know. They seem to make it up depending on how they feel that day. So, and I mean the judges and the juries. It's usually just the judges deciding on these things, but it doesn't seem like there's any consistency on what to expect. So if RJ Lewis can go get $2 million to play college one more year, God bless him.
I forgot Bill Wade was the coach there at LSU.
No wonder. Yeah.
Well, Billy Wade.
Should call up Walker Kessler.
I
heard you were a restricted free agent.
Up to his old tricks
again. You know where you're not restricted? College basketball.
Right here at LSU.
No restrictions.
Come aboard. You're going to love it. All right, stay tuned. We've got more Jacob Man coming up next. I should tease. We've got David Locke. Yes, the David Locke is coming on the show at the top of the 4 o'clock hour.
When was the last time we talked to David?
It's been a while.
Mm-hmm.
because back when we were in the midday, we were of such low priority for most people, David included, that he was going on other shows. But now here we are, Ben. We get to talk to David.
It was James Nagy, by the way, who I believe was not able to play at Baylor this year. I don't think he was able to go back. Anyways, huge mess. Yeah, I'm excited to talk to David.
No rules.
Yeah, just case to case.
Jacob Ed, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
All systems go. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ed, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. We're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at KSLSports.com/contest. And listen to this show every Thursday afternoon for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Ben, Christian has an update to the story that we played for the Audio Vault last week about Spygate over in English soccer.
Okay.
Yeah. Christian, they got caught again? Is that what happened? They got caught spying on another team, and we have further details.
So Southampton, the Spires, right? They have been kicked out of the championship playoff final after being found guilty of spying on multiple opponents during this 2025-26 season. So they're out of the playoffs for that incident.
What league is this?
The EFL.
Not the EPL.
No, so if they win the
they would
championship,
move up.
they get promoted, yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, yes, correct.
I am now a big EFL fan.
Okay.
This is exactly what the NFL should have done to the Patriots. Kick them out of the playoffs. That is your punishment, not this weak sauce draft pick stuff. Actual consequences for cheating. This I can be on board with. Yes, 100%.
Well, it's a league of consequences. You lose enough, they send you down a league.
I know.
You don't play well
It's
enough,
great.
you go down to the bottom league, the lower league, and if you cheat there, you're out of the playoffs. You can't even go back.
This cost them millions. If they had a
huge amounts of money.
chance to move up to the next league or whatever, this cost them millions and millions of dollars. And I say, good. More punitive punishments for cheaters.
It is
I'm
funny.
on board.
I've told you, there are times when you and I disagree on what's going to happen. We predict a future of something, and I always feel like I'm going to be right, and 99% of the time I'm wrong and you're right. And the most obvious example of this was the Jazz getting fined $500,000 by the NBA, and you said, oh, that's the last fine they're going to do the whole season. They fined the Jazz and the Pacers the same day. And you said, oh, they're not going to fine anyone for tanking the entire rest of the way. And they didn't fine anybody else, and everybody tanked.
Everybody.
The Jazz tanked, the Wizards tanked, the Kings tanked, the Grizzlies tanked, you name it. All Bulls, everybody tanked.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Silver sat on his hands. Didn't pick up the phone.
Nope.
Didn't issue a $30,000 fine, a $50,000 fine, a $100,000 fine. We all saw it. Everybody talks about it on TV.
Uh-huh.
Nobody cares.
Nope.
Adam Silver fined one person, two people, arbitrarily. Ryan Smith on Bill Simmons' podcast called it a tax. He didn't call it a fine. Bill Simmons asked, "Are you in the seven figures yet for fines?" He says, "No, that was the tax. It was not a big, essentially wrote it off as not a big deal," which everyone knew they would. Would the Jazz gladly pay $500,000 for the number 2 overall pick? Absolutely. Think of what the Jazz would ask to trade back from the number 2 overall pick.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely worth it. But in saying they didn't take any more punishment for that, nobody did. And to your point, good for the EFL. They saw somebody cheating and they said, death penalty.
You're out.
You're out.
You're not playing in the final.
You can't play the final, and that means you can't climb back up to the higher league, which is going to cost you millions and millions of dollars. Good for them.
Don't cheat next time.
Yep, I'm with you.
I always thought it was funny, the apologists who downplayed the Spygate and downplayed even the Deflategate. You know, if it doesn't help you win, then why are you doing it? And that is cheating.
By definition, that's cheating.
Because people would say, oh, wait, well, it doesn't matter. He's deflating it a little bit. And it's like, if it doesn't help him, then why is he doing it?
Yeah. He's not doing it arbitrarily.
Which is cheating.
Correct.
So, you know what? Throw the book at him.
If you're changing the rules, you're doing it on purpose to create an advantage for yourself.
But
that's cheating.
What you're talking about with the NBA is the ultimate flaw of Adam Silver, in my opinion. He doesn't actually care. He doesn't actually care about tanking. He doesn't care about any. I don't even know if he cares about the legitimacy of his league. He cares about at whinyfan2435 for some reason. That's his thing. Who was it to put that out the other day that he looks at Twitter all the time?
It's Tom Haberstroh or whoever it was.
Basketball Twitter is what he's like. It's like he is not a commissioner. He's a PR guy, and he's a bad PR guy at that.
Yeah. Well, grow a spine.
I'm going to show him. I'm doing something about this tanking. I'll show whiny fan 2675.
What are you going to say now?
Going to find the Jazz.
At anonymous Twitter with 15 followers.
What was that? I'm so mad at North Carolina, I'm going to punish NC State. What was that old saying? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm so mad about this tanking thing. I'm going to find the Pacers and the Jazz, the two franchises that nobody even cares about.
Right.
Hilarious. But yeah.
The
I did see
championship
that
is
coming.
Saturday, by the way.
Who's playing?
So Southampton, the cheaters, the Spires, they are replaced by Middlesbrough, the team that they were spying on, and they will play Hull City.
So they lost their semifinal? Middlesbrough lost their semifinal.
Middlesbrough lost because they had a disadvantage,
But
right?
gets to play, probably because they were a lousy team, to be honest with you, but also were cheated on.
No, they were cheated. Why would the other team do it if it didn't help?
Yeah, it may have helped. But we were laughing about presidents yesterday. Richard Nixon winning 49 of the 50 states and still tried to cheat via Watergate to figure out what was going on. It's like, I don't think you needed to do that. I don't know.
You were rolling.
I don't know if that gave you the advantage you felt like you needed. I'm going to just guess here that Southampton was the better team and then cheated anyways. The same way the Patriots were probably the better team, cheated anyways.
See, that's the problem, Ben. You should assume that they only won because of the cheating.
Okay. You know what? If you're cheating, you put yourself up to that kind of questioning, and if you put yourself up to that type of questioning, you say it wasn't a fair game and they only won because you made it unfair.
The Astros, that team stunk.
Yeah.
The only way they could hit the ball,
they knew which pitch was coming,
was by knowing.
Yep.
All right. We'll have more coming up next. Remember, David Locke at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. What time are we going to do Hot Take Tuesday today? 4:30.
I added one last night to my list.
Did you? Mm-hmm. Okay. We'll get to it. Coming up, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Oh, man, I know we're going to talk draft here, but I brought up this story, just waiting to be angry, that the NFL announced where the 2030 Super Bowl is going, and it's going to be Nashville.
Okay.
But I know it's not quite Hot Take Tuesday yet, but my hot take has always been pick 4 markets that people want to go to.
And rotate.
and just rotate through those.
Yeah.
But I think Nashville should be on that list.
Okay. Not their current stadium.
Not their current.
But they are building one right next door.
Right.
And it's a couple years out from being done, so that makes sense.
Yeah, right. But that type of town, the weather's going to be good. Yeah, there's plenty to do.
Probably okay in February, I would hope.
I mean, probably not that much different than like New Orleans.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit cooler, but not that
no, they're
bad.
not getting a lot of snow.
No, it should be like Nashville, Vegas, Miami, New Orleans, and Los Angeles. That's it.
Yeah.
None of this Detroit, New York, Minneapolis stuff.
Yeah. No cold weather cities.
Just because, I mean, if you're going to the Super Bowl, odds are that you're not going because you're a fan of the team. You're going because
you got a random opportunity.
You got an opportunity to go, and it's going to be a vacation to see the Super Bowl. Well, give people somewhere to go. That was always my take. But Nashville should be on that list if they have a good facility.
Yeah, it looked cool.
You've alluded to Ryan Smith going on with Bill Simmons. Talking a little draft here. We thought we'd play a little sound from that. Ryan talking about prospects and relationship with specifically Cam Boozer and AJ Dybantsa. Let's play that.
There's a top four, and you guys have these indirect ties with two of the four, right? Where you have Boozer, who played for the Jazz for years, with the best years of his career, and is now involved with your team. And then AJ, who got pulled out, went to prep school there, went to BYU. I know you guys are a little bit involved with the success of BYU, so you've probably gotten to know him a little bit, right?
Yeah, I mean, I go to BYU's like a mile from my house, so like it's my alma mater. It's where I went to school. It's where I play hoops. It's cool that a potential top pick or wherever it ends up is coming through here, and I'm sure all the Dukies feel the same way about Cam. And it's kind of how it's gone. I mean, I get the amount of texts I get from everyone from Duke, and there's a lot of them, the decision's easy, whatever it is they're coming, so. And you got the BYU contingent. It's like there's a lot of drama around this and a lot of insight and narrative, and it's gonna be an interesting 40 couple days here.
So. I told you yesterday, I don't think I said this on the radio, not that it matters, but I was doing a hit this morning on a Washington, D.C. sports radio station. And they specifically wanted to ask about AJ Dybantsa, but they opened the show or the segment by asking what I know of Ryan Smith getting AJ Dybantsa to Utah Prep, getting him to BYU, and how critical it is for AJ to land in Utah. And I think I disappointed them because I said, I don't think it matters all that much. I don't think that's the end-all, be-all. First of all, Ryan Smith is very smart. Ryan Smith knew the entire time that the Jazz, whenever AJ entered the draft, the Jazz would have at best a 10% chance of landing him. He did not organize all of this or help organize or whatever just to get a 10% chance of drafting AJ Dybantsa. In fact, I think Ryan Smith, one of his overarching goals that we have seen, and maybe overarching is the wrong word, but one of the consistent themes I think he's tried to accomplish since taking over the Utah Jazz or bringing the Utah Mammoths up here is he wants Utah to feel accessible and maybe even cool to people, whether that's BYU, Utah high schools, and certainly the Utah Jazz where he makes a lot of his money now. And that's kind of what I told him. I said, I'm not sure Ryan hasn't already achieved his goal by having the number one overall recruit live in Provo, play high school here, change his perspective on Utah, and be able to talk to people wherever he goes that, Utah was cool. And the next Bruce Branch III's going to come here, and another kid's going to come here, and another kid's going to come here. I think Ryan has kind of opened that floodgate a little bit that Ryan's cool. And even in this podcast, he talks about it a lot. But I think the guys in Washington were a little disappointed that I didn't think the Jazz were going to bend over backwards to give the Wizards absolutely everything to move up to number one to get AJ, because AJ's already served a huge purpose for Utah, and he may never play for the Jazz, and I still think that's a successful endeavor for what Ryan Smith was trying to accomplish. But to his point, I'm sure he's hearing it from BYU fans. The way Duke people hear it from Duke people, you don't have to only go out and get the local guy.
Yeah, but he didn't say one really important thing there, which would fly in the face of this a little bit. He did not say we are going to take the best player available. He did not say that.
In that clip, he didn't.
He did not. He danced around. He said,
listened to the
BYU's
whole
right
podcast,
down.
and he did say it several times.
Okay.
I will say, that clip, if that's what you were waiting for, he said it elsewhere. I promise he said it elsewhere.
That's what I was waiting for, because I don't know if that's true. I don't know if this wasn't some master plan to recruit AJ in high school and somehow to have it benefit the Utah Jazz. I do agree with your point about the likelihood of that, but that's not to say that it didn't happen or isn't real.
Or he hadn't thought about it.
Or he hasn't, he and Danny being so close to AJ haven't totally fallen in love with him. Because that's the leverage the other team has. That's why those guys wanted to hear it. Radio bozos and fans are smart sometimes. They know how Washington comes out super ahead in this situation. If the Jazz are desperate to move up to AJ Dybantsa, they wanted you to come on and say, oh man, the Utah Jazz would do literally anything to get AJ Dybantsa. That's what they're hoping because of we're having David on, right? It's his Locked On Wizards podcasty guy who's throwing out these ludicrous trade values, for the Jazz because they're, I don't want to say wish casting, but kind of wish casting. That's what they're doing. But I don't know, Ryan Smith should go into this saying, I don't care if we get AJ or not. Fine player, but not a priority. I mean, he should be downplaying that stuff, which if that's what he said later on in the interview, then all right. But I was waiting for, love those guys. Carlos, shout out to you. BYU right down the road. It's been fun watching him play. But we're going to take the best player we possibly can at number 2 pick.
What he did say, and again, we don't have the clip because it was a 40-minute interview on the Bill Simmons show, is he said this specifically. He said, you don't want me making the pick. He said, Jazz fans should not want Ryan Smith to make the pick. And he didn't go third person, but he did say, you don't want me making the pick. And that's exactly right. And I do think, again, that's where Ryan has been very good at his job and as an owner of saying, yes, I'm going to bring in my guys. Yes, Ryan believes in his people, clearly. He has known Danny Ainge his whole life. He talks about how he and Danny Ainge were born in the same hospital. Now, obviously, that was 30-ish years apart, 20-ish years apart, but they have ties. He knew him growing up, went to Boston, hung out with those guys before Danny Ainge even came to Utah, et cetera, et cetera. Clearly, Ryan has his people that he likes, but he also trusts those people. He talks about how he landed on Austin Ainge, how they got Danny Ainge, et cetera, et cetera. He really broke it down. I thought it was pretty interesting. But he says, let those guys do their job. That's the most important thing he can do. And he talked about Matt Ishbia, and he talked about some of these other owners, and he didn't specifically say they've got the new owner syndrome of coming in and trying to make a splash, but he recognizes the desire of wanting to come in and have an impact and say it and have opinions, et cetera, when really the best thing you can do is trust the people that you hire to come in. And he's going to sit there, and he's going to listen, and he's going to have, a say. And, of course, he has the final say. But he said it would be really stupid of me to have Austin Ainge say something, Danny say something, Will Hardy say something, and him say, actually, no, I think it's the opposite of that. And I think that's a real positive.
I agree.
So along those lines, I don't think he's going, it's AJ or bust. Now, if Danny feels that way and Austin feels that way, most importantly, as the president of basketball operations, and Justin Zanuck feels that way, I'm sure Ryan would sign off on it. But I'm not sure if they say we think it's Darryn or we think it's Cam, that Ryan's going to say, well, I got a couple of texts from BYU people that say they'd really like me to take AJ, so I'm going to take AJ.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I don't think that's coming. That doesn't mean they won't take AJ.
Well, there's just too much at stake for that stuff if you're smart about it. But then again, Charlotte picked Con Knipple because he went to Duke.
In part. But he also proved to be very worth that pick.
Yeah.
That was the right analysis. He was the second rookie of the year. He was picked 4th overall. Great value.
Yeah, right. But that's not why they didn't know that when they picked him, which is my point. There were plenty of people that had Ace Bailey ahead of Con Knipple on their draft boards, and thought there were plenty of people after the draft that thought Charlotte reached at 4 to get Con Knipple. And they took him because he went to Duke. And it turned out fine for him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's maybe, a blind squirrel finds a nut once in a while.
Well, it can be right.
But I don't think that it would work in the Jazz favor to be super attached to AJ Dybantsa for the obvious reasons that everybody who's paying attention, including Doug Gottlieb, would know.
You should not care about who the player is based on the school they went to or their last name or if their dad works in your front office or if you've watched every college game of theirs at all. I bet you, truthfully, Ryan has probably seen more games from who's a second-year player at BYU, third-year player at BYU, whatever. Some dude who's been there. Just say Richie Saunders. Keba Keita. He's seen Keba Keita. You've seen him play more than he's seen AJ Dybantsa. Take him. You've seen him play more. He's a BYU guy. He's more of a BYU guy than AJ is. He's been there longer. Yeah, you're not stupid. He's not going to do something ridiculous just because he's seen him play more. And sometimes you have to go to the extreme to see kind of the arguments of the case. But that's the argument of this case. Don't just take AJ because you've seen him the most because he was the closest. Lots of guys are close. Ryan's seen a lot of players play. That would be the dumbest decision they could make. So, doesn't mean AJ won't be number one on their board. I think AJ is going to be number one on most people's boards.
Best player available.
I think he's going to Washington. Very firmly believe that.
But that's what the Jazz need to do. Well, if he goes to Washington, he's probably not going to be very good. Their judgment is suspect.
Their development is very bad.
Their development is suspect.
I'm not sure it's their judgment that's bad, but their development is horrible. If you get talented players, the thing about the draft is nobody's drafting bad players at the top. These guys are all really good. They've been good in high school. They've been good at FIBA. They've been good in U19, whatever. They've been good every step of the way. They've been good in college. This isn't the NFL where a guy's like, yeah, he's never played before. It was crazy. We brought him in for 12 games, and he's just a super athlete, and we're going to put him at defensive end, and he's going to jump up in the first round, which happens occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
That never happens in the NBA. You never say oh, wow, this guy was 6'9", can't play a lick, never played organized basketball in his life. But we think we're going to draft him third. That doesn't happen in the NBA. These guys are all really good. Can they live up to the pressure? Can you develop them right? Can you put them in environments where they have success? And that's where Washington has traditionally not done a very good job.
At anything.
Or Sacramento. You know?
I don't know. Maybe your guy Sarr turns out to be something.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah, he's okay. I don't know. But I wouldn't bet on Washington making the right decision. But if AJ fell to the Jazz at 2, I'm sure they'd be thrilled.
No question. If AJ's on the board at 2, the Jazz will take
But
AJ.
what they should be doing is downplaying the narrative that they're desperate for AJ. Ryan should be on with Bill Simmons saying, AJ, who?
Yeah.
I don't even know
whether
who you're
they
talking
want him
about.
or not. Yeah, downplay AJ.
I don't even know that guy.
Yeah.
Carlos Boozer works for me?
Unless the Jazz think that Darryn Peterson's 1,000 times better than AJ, or Cam Boozer's 1,000 times better than AJ, and the worst case scenario is AJ still being on the board at 2, because that means that either Darryn or Cam is gone, and that's who the Jazz want. Otherwise, yeah, there's no reason to hype up AJ at all.
No.
Especially if you want him.
Right. You should not be doing that. So
I don't remember the Jazz saying a word about Ace Bailey before the draft.
Nope.
They wanted him.
Washington's dying to know what the Jazz want to do, though. I believe that. Mm-hmm. I believe that they were dialed into old Bill's podcast. Who would you bet on having intel on the other team? Danny Ainge on Washington or Washington on Danny Ainge?
Danny Ainge.
Or Austin Ainge. The Jazz.
The Jazz front office.
Front office.
I was very impressed with how the Jazz front office handled the draft last year. To get Ace at 5, not have Washington jump them, and get the guy they were apparently targeting. I thought that was impressive. I strongly suspect if anyone's going to get played in this scenario, it is not the Utah Jazz.
I would think so. By the way, Michael Winger is their executive.
Yeah.
So, want to be accurate.
And I wrote this up last week as well. You know, what is his history? What does he draft? You know, Danny Ainge, and I'm not ignoring Austin here. I'm just saying Danny's history, and now you include Austin, who's only really got one draft under his belt as the leading guy, has historically valued high school recruiting rankings over necessarily college production. Ace did not have a particularly great freshman season at Rutgers. Keontae did not have a particularly great freshman season at Baylor. But they were enormous recruits. Keontae was 5th. I think Ace was 2nd. And you go back to what happened in Boston, Danny Ainge trusted those same things. Jaylen Brown did not have a good first year at Cal. Jason Tatum had a good year at Duke, but was also an enormously high recruit. And Danny went out and found those players and drafted them, and he trusted more of what he saw before the context of college than after. You look at Winger at Washington, he traditionally seems to value really long guys. He's only been there for 3 years, but Alex Sarr falls into that group. Keyshawn George falls into that group. Will Riley falls into that group. Who's the kid they drafted? Trey Johnson falls into that group, who they drafted 6th last year. He's shorter, but he's really long. I think they like long, athletic players. Well, that's not Darryn Peterson. That is AJ Dybantsa, and that's where I think they're going to go.
This guy came from the Clippers.
Okay. Well, bad sign.
He was the GM under Larry Frank.
Clippers develop anyone well? Blake was okay.
The Jazz killer, what was his name?
Trey Mann. Really developed him well.
Terrence Mann.
Terrence Mann, not Trey Mann. Trey Mann plays for the Charlotte Hornets. Terrence Mann.
Zubats.
Who they didn't draft.
They traded for him, though.
They did trade for him.
And they traded nothing for him.
Yeah, it was a bad move by the Lakers.
Uh-huh.
They could have used that Zubac guy.
They could have. They could still use him today, in fact.
Yeah, Blake was fine. DeAndre achieved above his.
I think those guys were
spot.
pre this guy. He got there in 2017.
Oh, yeah. Then he doesn't get credit for it.
He was with Oklahoma City, though, from 2010 to 2017.
Okay.
So that's his background.
Some hits and some misses there, too. Including Trey Mann.
But
not Terrence Mann, Trey Mann.
But he took the Wizards' job.
It's true.
Doesn't that show a little error in judgment right there?
Yeah, picking the right job is a skill.
Uh-huh.
It's a real skill.
Like your guy Mosley going from Orlando to New Orleans.
Going the wrong direction.
Going the wrong direction.
In fact, you should have left Orlando a year early. It's been like, I need to step away from myself. Heart or something, whatever the problem is. Family issues, mental health, whatever. And I'm not trying to make fun of mental health, but I think it's been used conveniently in the past. And then take a better job 2 years later. Not, well, I'm going to run this out until I get fired, and then I'm going to take the next job that's a little bit worse than that. And then maybe is there a job worse than New Orleans in the NBA?
Sacramento.
Okay. And I'll finish up in Sacramento. I'll have a 12-year career. We'll wrap it up.
Good times.
Put it in the books.
That'd be funny if Sacramento, their next general manager was Calvin Booth.
Yep. It's getting a little worse every single time. But that's how these teams end up these teams.
It is.
And yes, again, if I'm the father of one of these kids, I'm not dying to land in Washington. Though AJ's going to get the ball if Trae Young lets him have it, and will be able to score a lot. I wrote an article today. Someone asked in my mailbag, what's the likelihood the Jazz draft an all-star? The truth is, it's probably AJ at number one because AJ's going to get 1,000 shots. Mm-hmm. And he's going to score 20 points, and he has a lot of flashy dunks. He's going to become an all-star. I don't know if that necessarily means you're the best player. All-star has a ton of noise to it. It doesn't really mean that much. All-NBA means a lot more. But AJ's probably have a great chance to make an all-star team because he's going to average 25 points a game really early in his career.
De'Aaron Fox was an all-star, and he just lost his job.
D'Angelo Russell made an all-star team.
Yikes.
Career journeyman.
Yeah,
doesn't
Wiggins.
really mean anything. Yeah, right. So, yes, De'Aaron Fox was officially put on the trade block last night. Not only did you and I say, oh, good news for the Spurs, De'Aaron Fox is not playing, they're going to win, Dylan Harper came in and was unreal.
When he was on his feet.
Correct.
He fell down a lot.
He did fall down a lot, but I think he had 7 steals last night.
Uh-huh.
25, 5, and 5. I mean, he eclipsed the 5s, but broke the 20-point mark and points, rebounds, and steal, or rebounds, assists, and steals. He had over 5. He was awesome.
Made himself at home taking 20 shots.
Well,
I'm getting the start, baby.
I'm sure they would rather him doing that in the going forward as a 6'6", 6'7" player over De'Aaron Fox.
24 points, 11 rebounds, 6 assists, only 1 turnover, 7 steals. Yeah, It's a great game.
Great game.
Didn't shoot it well from 3, 1 of 7.
Yeah. But you know who else doesn't shoot well 3?
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah, he's not grabbing 11 rebounds.
Sitting there on the bench like, ooh.
I guess I got to clap.
It did keep cutting to him.
They all the time,
Oh,
yeah.
That wasn't accidental. He's going to end up in Orlando. That's where he's going.
Adele's not sending him to Orlando.
Oh, it's not up to him anymore. Adele's out. Wemby's the new king.
Hello.
Yeah, but Adele doesn't have Wemby.
Correct. Wemby's going to say, we got to get these guys out of here. We got to get these clutch dudes out of here.
Absolutely.
As soon as possible.
Certainly Wemby's agent thinks that.
Yeah. Same agent as Rudy.
Yeah, right. That guy, by the way, with the European talent is going to just make a fortune. I bet he is just cleaning up.
Yep, he's done a good job.
Has he done a good job, or is he just...
He got Rudy. He got Rudy a bunch of money.
He did.
Yeah.
No, you're right. He has done a good job.
He's a good job.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a couple guys big cash, too. I should look at all of his...
Repping Wemby, though, is going to be easy. Wemby should fire him now.
I don't need an agent.
He doesn't.
Shea negotiated his last contract by himself.
Wasn't it Ray Allen who famously hired Johnny Cochran? You remember that?
Yep.
Said, I don't need an agent. I just need somebody to hammer out this contract. Johnny Cochran said, I'll do it.
Buna Daye. Yeah. That guy's good.
Yeah, he should.
Get that guy.
Wemby should seriously fire that guy.
Yeah, probably don't need him.
I mean, even endorsements are going to come easy, right?
Yes. For the alien? Yeah.
He should not go with that nickname, though.
I agree with you. I think there are better nicknames out there.
Well, I wouldn't want my nickname to be an insult.
You always got to be careful calling people freakish or whatever.
Right. Like unibrow for Anthony Davis. I wouldn't want that.
This guy's only really covered a French player and a few NBA players. Not enough. But he's got some big ones. Rudy, Victor Wembanyama, Seher Sene, who was a Jazz assistant for a little bit there.
Jokic's
Nick
agent.
Batum.
Jokic's agent is a big deal over in Europe, right?
Yeah.
He's like the guy.
Mm-hmm.
I bet it's dirty pool in Europe. I bet it's so dirty. I bet these NBA franchises negotiating with that guy don't even know what they're dealing with. I bet that dude is used to dealing with mobsters. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like Wemby's name ends up on that contract, or
I'm not sure the league rules are as strict.
Yeah. And the ownership groups are definitely more seedy.
Yeah.
Way more seedy.
Yes, they are.
All right. More Jake and Ben coming up next. Don't forget David Locke, top of the 4 o'clock hour, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Your vehicle doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a bridge to the people and places that matter most. It's how you show up for your family, your community, and everyone else that depends on you. That's why for 125 years, Firestone has been building tires with one thing in mind: to deliver products that are as reliable as you are. Firestone, always dependable since 1900.
Shop with confidence at the Home Depot and get Memorial Day deals on Ryobi, the #1 cordless outdoor power brand. Both the Ryobi 18-volt and 40-volt self-propelled mower kits are on special buy for just $449 each, was $479. Ryobi's battery platform delivers the power, runtime, and dependability you need to tackle your yard work with ease. Shop Memorial Day deals on Ryobi outdoor power, only at the Home Depot. Pricing valid 5/14 through 5/27, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Mom, can you tell me a story?
Sure. Once upon a time, a mom needed a new car.
Was she brave?
She was tired, mostly. But she went to Carvana.com and found a great car at a great price. No secret treasure map required.
Did you have to fight a dragon?
Nope. She bought it 100% online. From her bed, actually.
Was it scary?
Honey, it was as unscary as car buying could be.
Did the car have a sunroof?
It did, actually.
Okay, good story.
Car buying you'll want to tell stories about. Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Thank you for making us a part of your day. We can get this. We can talk some college sports maybe a little later on in the show. Ben, you've seen the story out there. I was talking to Christian about it earlier, coming out from Yahoo, that the Big Ten and the SEC want to break away and do their own thing.
Okay.
No rules. No rules anymore, Ben. We talked about it earlier today. What do you make of the Portland Trailblazers and your guy El Cheapo?
Strikes again.
He came in and canned, 50 full-time employees?
Yeah, I heard it was upwards of 70 people overall.
Rough.
Okay, you worked for the Jazz.
Uh-huh.
I never worked for the Jazz, but family members that have. Do people have a misconception? Maybe you know better. I'm sure you know better than I do. Of how many people actually work for these teams? The Jazz don't have 1,000 employees.
No.
70 is a huge number of people.
It is, but can I tell you, I do think this is a non-story. Not to defend El Cheapo, but I do think this is a non-story. And I don't... Well, let me put it this way. Anytime ownership changes, there's going to be staff change. It's how it works. And owners come in and they get their new people. And if you want to think about it this way, they come in and they want an entirely different structure.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not to bring up old wounds, but when Ryan Smith bought the Jazz from the Millers, there was significant layoffs.
Yeah, there was turnover.
And it was not necessarily all budget related. It was also about he changed the whole structure of the company.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden they had a CEO and a CRO and all that sort of thing where they never had that before, and they totally changed. And a lot of people were let go. And it wasn't, I mean, I don't want to speak out of turn, but it didn't feel to me like it was malicious. It was, this is all changing, and we're going to change right down to some of the people that go out and sell, or some of the people that manage teams, or they really just changed everything. And as a result, a lot of people, and good people, by the way, were let go in the process. So, yes, I'd love to blast El Cheapo because that on-the-road stuff is silly, and not traveling as two-way players, and that seems very nickel and dimey. But in this case, I understand it a little bit more. Does that make sense? Especially since they bought it from the Allens, and it wasn't even the old man Allen, rest his soul. It was the daughter. Yep. I mean, heaven knows what was going on in that organization, who they were employing, how it was going. Their head coach got arrested off the sidelines. I mean, for crying out loud, I don't know what was going on in that org. And so this one, I might be a little more careful about.
Being critical?
About being critical.
I understand what you're saying. I wonder if he's actually replacing these jobs or just getting cheaper and asking fewer people to do more work. That's where my red flag goes up, my antenna goes up.
All I know is there were stories like this written about Ryan Smith when it happened, and I don't think that was the whole story.
Yeah.
In fact, I know it wasn't the whole story.
Sean Highkin, who now has a Substack but has been working in Portland covering the NBA for a very long time, this was his analysis of it. He says, I talked to one person who survived the cuts today who said it feels like they just looked at the spreadsheet of salaries and cut the highest ones without any regard for what anyone does or how important they are. Now, that is common. That is one of the things that happens. But Sean goes on to say, my biggest criticism of Dundon from the beginning, which he admitted to on the podcast the other day, is that he does not get the ways in which the NBA doesn't work like the NHL and the things you have to pay for there. That's a red flag for me.
Yeah, but
you can't run an NBA team the way you run an NHL team. And by the way, Ryan Smith does not. He has hired different people to have different jobs and fill different roles that don't exist for one and the other.
I know, but who said that? Identify the guy again.
Sean Highkin.
Yeah. No, the source?
Yes.
It was somebody who
survived.
That guy just saw his best friend get whacked.
Sure.
He's not going to come out and say, well, this guy is brilliant.
Guy, smart
guy. No, that's question the source a little bit. And I don't know. I know people are in a hurry to blast him, and he's kind of giving them ammo to do it. I don't know. When the Millers, or when the transition was going and layoffs happened with the Jazz, I wasn't too pleased to see some of the people get let go. It was a time of a lot of uncertainty. Mm-hmm. It was a time of, in the case of the station, we had no idea if he wanted to run a radio station. And it turns out he did not.
Right.
Now it ended up just fine for us. And we've got a great relationship with the Jazz. And I'm really happy with how it eventually turned out. At the time,
you were unsure.
Didn't know. And I wasn't really happy about where it was going. My longtime boss, Jeremy Castro, had just been laid off. I like Jeremy. I didn't know how that was going to go. Few people in my career have done more for me than that guy. I don't know if some reporter would have asked me for my comment and said, I'll keep it anonymous. I don't know what I would have said.
Sure. I think that's totally fair.
It would have been way different than what I would say now.
I would feel better and maybe have a little bit more, I don't want to even say sympathy, but leniency towards what you're saying if Dundon didn't have a long history of seemingly inane behavior.
No, his team's still playing in the NHL playoffs.
Yep.
He's doing fine.
Yeah.
Now, I think his biggest, if we want to talk about red flags with that guy, was thinking that he could get the whatever league the Stallions played in off the ground. Mm-hmm. And that was a miserable failure.
Or thinking you run an NBA team like an NHL team. Not the same thing.
Well, we'll see. There's more than one way to skin a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And
let's hope he realizes
we'll
that.
See how it goes.
He seems to think there's only one way to do it.
We'll see. Well, we'll see how it goes with Portland. Maybe he changes the way NBA teams are run. I don't know.
Maybe every coach from here on out works on an hourly scale. Seems to be what he's trying to do there.
What the Sacramento guy wanted his team to cherry pick all the time.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I'm not saying all ideas are good. I just don't know if I think this situation is less egregious from the El Cheapo standpoint than the other examples.
New owners come in and make changes. No question about it.
Yeah, it happens.
Yep.
And yeah, I don't think the Allens did a particularly good job with Portland, frankly, over the past several years. You could even make an argument the old man didn't really do a good job because he cared way more about the Seahawks than he ever did the Trailblazers.
No question.
So we'll see. Where does this guy actually live? He owns the Hurricanes. Is he like a New York guy?
I thought he lived in the South.
So if he's a long way away, I'd be super stoked to...
Dallas. Guy.
I'd be more concerned if he was in the office upstairs, you know?
He's a Dallas guy. You know what? Again, not to go back to the Ryan and Bill Simmons podcast, but that's exactly where I'm going. He did talk about that. He said it's really important, he thinks, to be involved and be in the building and understand what people's jobs actually are, because it's easy to be really overreactive from afar. You make coaching changes quickly. You make front office changes quickly. If you're not in there throughout the process of decision-making, whether it's draft picks, strategy, team building, whatever, it's easy to step back and say, that was a mistake, you're fired. Uh-huh. But if you're involved in it and you understand why people arrived at the decisions they did and all the input that goes into it, he thinks you can do a better job. I think that was an interesting approach. It's an insider perspective on why you may want to do things a certain way versus living in Dallas and owning a team in Portland.
Wait, the 2 points, though, we've made about Ryan Smith are in a previous segment that he's hands-off, and then in this segment that he's hands-on?
No, that he understands why the decisions that are made are made.
But he's in the building and all. He's in the building, and he knows everybody and all that stuff. It's very hands-on for an owner.
Yeah. That doesn't mean he's making the decisions on players getting hired or picked. So I think that was the original point.
Okay. All right.
I think you can do both. You can be in the building and not have the final say on who you draft.
So what's he weighing in on, like the color of the drapes?
The
carpet?
A little bit. No, he says he has opinions. He said he watches basketball just like everyone else does and likes things and doesn't like things. He says he said, in his words, he opines.
So he goes in there and he says, I like this. I don't like that.
Uh-huh.
Or that, or that, or that. Like that.
Correct.
Covering the Utes better than anyone else.
Nope, that wasn't it.
Like that?
There it
we go.
is. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Well, I do think he's doing it his own way. And, we in this ongoing evaluation of him as a sports owner, I certainly don't think he's made any big mistakes.
No, he's not infallible. But I don't think there's like this obvious, wow, I can't believe you did that. And again, you can go back to the drafts that he's been a part of and say that Dennis Lindsey and Justin Zanuck might have made a mistake with Doak. I mean, you look at Desmond Bain, you look at Jaden McDaniels, those guys are big-time players who fetch big value, and Udoka Azubuike sucked.
Mm-hmm.
That was a mistake. Now, Ryan is saying that I can be in that room and I can understand why we got to this, this answer, why that was the solution they got to, whether that was Dennis's pick or whoever's pick. He said that's how he gets there, why he understands it. And he's defended the pick on Twitter.
The Doak pick?
Huh?
Doak never got a fair shot.
Yeah, I can't remember. I don't know.
He did get hurt right away, which didn't
twice.
help.
He went to the G League twice, and in the first game, both times, he dislocated his ankle.
And he was the Big 12 Player of the Year.
Uh-huh.
And I know people like to tell you that they knew that Desmond Bain and Jaden McDaniels were going to be awesome, but they've also said that same thing about plenty of players in the past that did not
my guy Jared Butler
turn out to be awesome.
Correct.
So
also out of the league.
Yeah. And we were talking about people just want to be right, and then they hang on to it for a really long time.
But it's really easy to forget about what you were wrong about.
Very easy. I do it every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have more coming up next. Don't forget Locke with us at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Make game day yours.
tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Dedication isn't born in the light of day. It's carved in the quiet hours before the world blinks awake. At Boar's Head, we rise with a mission to deliver craftsmanship worthy of your table. A slice of something special folded into every moment worth savoring. Because dedication means delivering only the very best. Boar's Head, committed to craft since 1905.
Introducing Celsius Electric Vibe, a limited-time drop from the Celsius Vibe line. Get a kick of tropical fruit flavors that spark the senses, featuring bright pineapple, vibrant orange, bold cherry, and smooth grape notes. It's a crowd favorite that keeps the energy high from kickoff to the final whistle. Made with zero sugar, this smooth tropical freeze flavor brings intensity to every match, whether you're watching the game or hitting the pitch. Celsius Electric Vibe, energy for every goal. Try this limited edition flavor today while supplies last and enjoy the game.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson. Now, every day from 2 to 6 on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Our buddy David Locke's going to join us coming up in the very next segment, the radio voice of the Utah Jazz. Want to remind you to join Scotty and the coach on Wednesday from 10 to 2 at the Bar W Beef pop-up event at the Cal Ranch store in Spanish Fork, 950 North Main Street. Ben, I just saw this. I didn't know anything about Victor Wembanyama's parents. His mom, Elodie, 6'3", former pro basketball player. Mm-hmm. His dad, Felix, 6'6", competed professionally in the triple jump, high jump, and long jump. Genetics are a fascinating thing. You know what I mean? Like, yes, both parents are tall, but he still had to hit the genetic lottery to become as tall as he is, and then to have both parents, obviously, their athletic. I mean, what makes Wemby so unique is his ability to move and jump and be, what am I looking for? Not gangly? Not
fluid, yeah.
Not, what's the word? Not, we used to call it lurpy back in the day.
Yeah.
But has balance and coordination. That's probably what I'm looking for. You know, you still have to really get every right thing, right, to be like he is. In the NBA, talking a lot about Wemby, you look at, for the most part, and it's, I guess, not always the case, but for the most part, the true dominant players in the NBA are physically unique.
Yep.
Not just gifted, but unique.
Yeah.
There's not another person like that out there. Mm-hmm. There's like that? LeBron, totally unique, being that size and that athletic and that healthy, frankly. Giannis, absolutely. But even going back, Magic was pretty physically
extremely unique, yeah.
And I don't know where you put Jordan on that scale. There have been other 6'6", 200-pound athletic players, but
not as athletic as Jordan.
Not
in all honesty. And sometimes we think of athleticism as just having the highest vertical, and being the Vince Carter run and jump athletes. Like Shea's a freak athlete. He's not a big dunker. He showed a nice dunk last night. He had one. Perfect body control. An absolutely insane ability to start and stop, move in, get his feet in the right position to get to his jump shot, things that we kind of underrate. It's far more of what Darryn Peterson is. He's not, we had the crazy dunk against BYU. He's had some big dunks. It's not what he's going to really be in the NBA. He's not Anthony Edwards, but it's near perfect body control. Jokic looks like a mess. I get it. Hand-eye coordination is basically perfect. He just
his touch is amazing.
His touch is
that
insane.
Might be his superpower.
That's an athlete. It's a different type of athlete, but it's an athlete nonetheless. And no, you're exactly right, and that's a huge deal. It's one of the reasons why the biggest indicator of success, the best indicator for success amongst true prospects, not just if your parent did this, you're going to make it, but real prospects is, did your parents also play in the NBA? Did your dad play in the NBA? Has generally been the best indicator that you're going to be a good NBA player yourself, that you're going to make it. And you want to look down the list of guys. It's like maybe your dad doesn't make the NBA, but like Keontae George's dad played very high-level basketball, played with C.J. Miles at some point. Cam Boozer, his dad's a longtime NBA player. It's going to be good for him. Mike Conley's dad didn't play in the NBA. He's an Olympic high jumper, long jumper.
Like he was an Olympian, yeah.
It's like, having really athletic parents, because you inherit some of those genetics. Jaren Jackson's mom, Ace Bailey's entire family, Ace Bailey's aunt was a WNBA legend. Having the genetics helps. I also think there's a big deal about knowing somebody who's been there. I really believe in that. If you know somebody who has reached that level of competition, excellence, fame, or whatever, the likelihood that you get there is so much higher.
Well, and it's what genetics did you get?
Yeah.
I remember we argued with David about Bronny James, or I did. I shouldn't throw you under the bus. I was arguing with David over Bronny James, and David was saying, but genetics. It's like, he got the wrong ones.
Yeah. He's not 6'8".
He's not.
No, he's 6'1".
Didn't get the right genetics. But, all right, my question to you is, okay, so two elite athletes, fall in love, or did they? Do you think that they were forced to fall in love at the point of a gun like Yao Ming's parents?
That was a Yao Ming thing. I'm not sure France is quite that strict.
Who was the president at the time?
In France? Well, he's only 23 years old.
Yeah, so what, 2004?
2003.
Who was the French president? I don't know anything about French politics.
Same.
They could be desperate for a basketball player.
Jacques Chirac.
Yeah, I know nothing about that guy. But could he have forced Wemby's parents to mate at the point of a gun? Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, anything's possible.
Well, it happened in China. I wouldn't have thought it would happen at all.
Like it happened in China.
I don't think that was love. Ben's really looking into it now.
Jacques Chirac. I remember the name because as soon as I pulled him up, he's known for his staunch opposition to the U.S. invading Iraq. And I remember that name from that, just getting out of high school at the time. But I don't know anything about him.
Maybe his master plan was like, listen, we're going to take over their sport.
It's possible. Took 23 years. Is he still alive? Jacques Chirac is...
Playing the long game, bro.
Dead.
Still. I'm going to put the wheels in motion that are really going to throw the American sports world on its head.
My legacy is to be put off an American MVP just one more year.
I mean, who made the decision to make Yao Ming's parents get together? Probably wasn't Xi.
No, probably not alive anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
Long game, Ben. You got to be on this thing.
Country before individual success.
I do find genetics fascinating. It is really interesting to see what goes down, to the next generation and what does not.
Oh, it happens in the U.S. all the time. You and I both know a couple of guys who found women specifically because of their athleticism, thinking they could have great athletes for kids. And by the way, both do.
Right. That's true.
It does work.
Oh, no. Is this true, Christian?
I wasn't trying to break into the show. My apologies, but I think that is real.
Christian just sent us a tweet. Breaking news. Las Vegas' famous Heart Attack Grill is closed. Oh, no.
We were talking about this last week or 2 weeks ago.
Heartbroken.
You have to be 350 pounds, and if you're over 350, you eat for free?
Yeah.
Is that what it is, or was it just $3?
No, 350.
I think you thought it was 350, and you said it was 3, and then we looked up, it's still 3.
I thought it had been moved up to 4.
Okay.
Yeah, 350.
But it doesn't even matter now because it's closed.
Yeah, they leaned into the morbidly obese lifestyle.
It was 350, and I think the problem was there's just so many people that eat for free, they went out of business. That's not a criticism of people eat for free. If I weighed 350, I'm going to eat for free at the Heart Attack Grill.
Listen, you didn't. That's not where they made or lost their money. That was the show.
Right.
People went for the show.
You know what? Maybe I don't feel so bad that this place is closed.
You know what killed this restaurant? GLP-1s. That's what did it. There's no more show.
Charles Barkley.
There's no more show.
Serena Williams.
You used to go down to this restaurant to watch people get on the cattle scale.
You're not kidding. That's what it was.
And then go in and eat for free. That was the, like Excalibur does the night show. That was their show.
Okay.
It's over
fine.
now.
It's fine if it goes out of business for me.
Yeah, morally, it's amazing it lasted as long as it did.
And did you ever talk about how it's like hospital themed?
No, I don't know if we
hospital
yeah.
themed.
Yeah, the waitresses are dressed like nurses.
Uh-huh. Probably also are nurses on the side, because they need that sort of thing.
Do you have your food handler's permit? Yes. And your nursing
Or your
degree?
CPR
Sure.
Yeah.
Registered nurse, you bet. Just trying to make a few extra bucks.
Yeah. According to The Sun, it's closed.
It's gone. It's gone.
I'm going to try and get you. So in addition, for your birthday now, I have to get you 3 things. I have to get you the Japanese monster wolf dog.
Uh-huh.
What was the second thing?
Well, it was a robot wolf.
Wolf dog. Yeah. What was the second thing?
I don't even remember.
There was another thing you asked for your birthday that was like really hard to get.
It was, yeah.
And now I've pulled up the neon sign for the Heart Attack Grill that I've got to try and find before they tear down the whole building.
That one, the sign would be incredible. I'd settle for like a shirt or a hat.
Okay. Probably figure that out.
Bring me the scale.
The cattle scale? Oh, man, it's a sad day. Maybe David Locke can lift our spirits.
Customer food options included the impressive Octuple Bypass Burger, which featured 8 burger patties and 40 bacon slices.
Yeah, buddy. Get that for free.
And I believe they fried their fries in lard.
Of course they did.
Well, yeah.
Like all of the best fries.
The restaurant's biggest claim to fame was their deal that anyone over 350 pounds ate for free as long as they were willing to be weighed in front of the entire dining room. Hence your point, that was actually the show.
That was the show.
Dinner and a show.
That was the draw.
And you'd boo people who came in at just 340.
Yeah, missed it.
Yeah.
You got to pay for your dinner, pal. David Locke joins us next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to get the inside scoop on the Utah Jazz. From the play-by-play voice of the Jazz, David Locke.
Sweet revenge! Pow!
On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ed, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time to talk some draft. Some Jazz, some NBA in general. Very excited about our next guest. Of course, he's the radio voice of the Utah Jazz, the one and only David Locke. Hi, David.
Hey, David.
Well, hello, Jake Scott. Hello, Ben Anderson. What a pleasure. I get to get smarter here. What do we got?
I don't know if you heard the Jazz have a pretty good draft pick coming up.
Yeah, number 2. I did hear. I was quite excited. I was very pleased about this.
And it's a good draft. So as you've begun your research, and we are, 4 weeks from today? Or 5 weeks from today, I believe, is the draft.
Yeah.
Where are you as far as what you've taken a dive into and what you see?
Well, I'm not as good because I haven't had my Ben Anderson KSL Sports draft breakdowns yet. I've been looking and searching. If I've missed them, let me know.
There's a couple out, yeah.
Okay, if I've missed them, then I apologize. I've seen some mailbags and a lot of podcasting, but I hadn't seen the articles yet. So I've watched a good portion of 4 guys: AJ, Darryn, Cameron, Darius Acuff, a little bit of Wilson, a little bit of Brown, a little bit of Wagler, and a little bit of Fleming. I probably don't need to watch. I feel like I only need to watch 6 at this point. I think I need to watch. I just watched Darius Acuff, and I think that's worth watching. I don't think that's totally off the table. The little bit I've watched of Mikel Brown, I actually want to watch him again. I'm not entirely sure I think that's totally off the table. But obviously most of the conversation is AJ Peterson, Cameron Boozer, and there's some Caleb Wilson conversation, so I've tried to hover around that.
When it comes to Peterson, do you care much about the creatine cramps?
Well, I care a lot about the cramps. I care a lot about, where he is and whether a guy who hasn't played 30 games can play 100 if we ever need him to. And I think you have to figure out what his experience was. I did my whole podcast on it yesterday and tried to be very kind of factual because I think the minute you get into the world of Stephen A. Smith and Kendrick Perkins, you're kind of now have jumped the shark on anyone having any accurate information about you. So I went back to try to read every feature article imaginable and try to get all the stories prior to that from reporters that were there and actually following it. And it's interesting. Like, to me, like, I think it's really, like, so they have this hell week that Bill Self puts on. There's like this conditioning non-basketball, like, signature, like, thing of Kansas basketball. Sounds like it's straight out of Archie Bunker in 1960. And a week later, after practice, he gets a full body cramp that lasts for 45 minutes, which is really long, by the way. That was incredibly painful and sent him to the hospital. And he's openly referred to it as a traumatic experience. So it seems as though after that experience, every time he felt something funky with his body, he checked out. Like, literally checked out of the game. Like, to get me out of the game. I mean, not like checked out. Like, I'm not sure that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Right?
Absolutely not. No, if you have experienced something traumatic, again, his words, and you start to feel it coming on again, especially when you are trying to just get to the end of the finish line so you can get your $100 million paycheck on the other side, I don't blame anyone for being extra cautious or his family being extra cautious. Along, though, with Darryn Peterson, because there was so much talk about him, because he's a highly touted draft pick. I think a lot of people heard the Kobe comparison and heard the Michael comparison and maybe have heard Anthony Edwards comparisons. That is not what I've ever seen on camera when I watch him play. What do you think is his best skill? What does Darryn Peterson, who I think if you were to ask most Jazz fans right now who they think they're going to end up with, they would say Darryn Peterson. What is his best skill in the NBA?
The balance he has while dribbling, which allows him to change directions, hesitate, or continue in the direction he's on. That's what I would go with. Obviously, his jumper is good, and he seems to have great touch. But I'm wowed by his balance, which is also the same balance that allows him to then elevate when he needs to over people to get shots off and dunk, as he did against BYU. What would you go with?
I just think he's an elite shooter. And to really just knock it down really quickly, he took 7 threes a game in college and hit him at 38%. It's like, yeah, that really matters,
but
actually.
But A-Cup took 7 threes a game and made 44%. And unlike every other player in this draft, in the second half of the season got better.
No, whoever drafts Darius Acuff is going to love him. I like Darius Acuff. I think the defense is obviously a big issue, and it's going to come out, and it's going to be an issue that you run into when you're at a point where you're trying to win. But I do think you're going to get to a point where you're trying to win before you figure that out, and that means he's done some winning along the way, the same way he won at Arkansas. So I'm with you. I'm not out on Darius Acuff by any means, but I just think Darryn Peterson, when we talk about what his archetype is in the NBA, a lot of people think it's 6'6", mid-range guy, the way Kobe or Michael was. I think he's going to do most of his scoring at the three-point range, and that's fine.
Yeah,
you saw Ray Allen a lot in Seattle. He was a good player.
Right. His ability to move, his ability to shoot off the move was impressive. But that goes back to the balance thing I'm talking about, right? I just thought now, I mean, the other issues, right? Was he just coasting and trying to get, the noise got loud, and then does he try to get to the final? Is he just trying to get to the finish line in the final 9 games of the year? Because his numbers were 37% from the field and 27% from three. Honestly, what my biggest takeaway has been when I've been watching this draft? These guys are really, really good, but I'm not as sold that this is this totally incredible once-in-a-million draft that's been called all year. These guys are really good. They're really, really good. But they're all similar to guys. It's not like 2 years ago when I couldn't find a player I liked, right? It's not that. I'll never forget watching Ira Newell or whoever it was, Asa Newell last year, who went 23rd to Atlanta, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's actually better than any player I watched all of last year. So it's not that. These guys are really, really good, but I don't find them I think there's a real chance that AJ Dybantsa could be RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, or Paolo Banchero. Now, 2 of those guys are an MVP. Are all-stars, but they're not, they're not. And there's a real question what happens with Darryn Peterson, and Like, I think Cameron Boozer is really, really good, but he could be Domantas Sabonis, which is really good. Like, it's an all-star, but it's not what we're like. I think those are actually the most likely scenarios for those players, and I'm not sure that they're like. I'm not sure I would call any of those three players purely franchise changing.
There's not
really good.
There's not three Cooper Flags at the top of the draft.
Right. Yeah, that's right. And there's certainly not a Victor Wembanyama.
What did you think about your Locked On Wizards guy throwing out using Ace Bailey to trade up?
I mean, I think he's doing his job beautifully, and he's engaged a very active fan base. And I think Salt Lake City, Utah, and where I live, is the greatest place on the planet. And there's actually probably one place in the world I would move to, ironically, and that's D.C.
Do you think the Jazz would have any interest in moving off of Ace Bailey?
No, I can't imagine it.
I thought
Ace Bailey.
You were in all the press conferences I was in, David.
We were playing fake basketball, but I thought Ace Bailey was really great for the last 2 months of the year. Did I just buy in too much, or was he that good?
Well, one of the things you can pay attention, we listen to a lot of coaches talk. We specifically listen to, and you more than me, Will Hardy talk. And Jake can do the same thing because Jake has heard every Will Hardy pre-half and post-game show for his entire career. So one of the things that coaches do accidentally, whether they know it or not, is they tell the truth by talking about some of the names they bring up first. And sometimes they do it on purpose to give somebody props. But at the end of the season, when you asked Will Hardy what you thought went well, he could not stop talking about Ace Bailey. He brought up Ace Bailey every chance, and I don't think it was on purpose. I think he meant it because I think the Jazz really like Ace Bailey.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 92-92, or let's go 105-105 with 145 left in our first game of the year, I think the chance there's the play's called for Ace Bailey. Like, who are you running that play for right now? We're tied. There's a $1:45 left coming out of a timeout. Who are you running a play for on our roster?
Well, Svi, obviously.
Exactly.
Well, Key can dribble, which helps. Keontae George can dribble, and that makes him a potentially primary option.
Yep.
But no, you're not wrong. That Ace has an ability to get to a shot off of one or two dribbles to, as Giannis Antetokounmpo called it in their little video they shot together for Nike, your kill spots. Get to your kill spot and rise up, and Ace can do that. Or will be able to do it if he can't do it yet.
And as wonderful as Lowry and Jaren are, they can't. At least I'm not aware that Jaren can't. How's that? And the data says he can't, or has not been very good in the clutch.
As of 48 hours ago, David, the Oklahoma City Thunder were on the verge of a 5-championship dynasty, according to most people in the NBA. And as of 12 hours ago, it was completely dashed, and this is Victor Wembanyama's league. Where do you fall on those two parties?
Well, look, I tweeted it last night, but I had said it to a bunch of people prior that I thought if Victor lost, I thought this series was Michael Jordan versus the Detroit Pistons. So I thought this would be like Victor, and I still think this could be true. I think there might have been a Pyrrhic victory last night. I think they're going to be gassed for a while. I think that this is the last series Victor loses until like 2030. And I don't know why he loses in 2030. But I think this is the series we're going to look back at with Victor, where he learned how to win. He had this breakout game in game one. I think they still probably lose the series unless Oklahoma City really can't score against them, which they have not scored against them yet in 6 games this year. So maybe they can't. And I don't know what you do. Well, I do. Here, let's go back to can I go back to the Jazz for a second?
Yep.
Does Victor Wembanyama mean you have to? This is my podcast tomorrow, so I'm giving it away. But does Victor Wembanyama mean you have to draft Cameron Boozer? Because the only way you are beating the San Antonio Spurs is having 5 shooters on the floor and having a big who plays a handoff pick and pop game at the top, who either Victor Wembanyama is guarding and in drop, so therefore the big is wide open, i.e., or the way that the Warriors used to kill Draymond Green, you're playing kill Rudy Gobert or Draymond Green, is you're playing the handoff game with Cameron Boozer, and your guard or shooter's coming off, getting the handoff and shooting, and Victor's dropped. And so they can get that shot. But the only way Isaiah Hartenstein is not going to be able, was played out of the series within 3 minutes. Rudy Gobert was played out of the last series within 5 minutes. Walker Kessler, unless he really is a proficient three-point shooter, and you're comfortable with him shooting 17 threes like Alex Caruso did last night, is not going to be able to play against Victor Wembanyama. No center can play if Victor Wembanyama is on the floor because you can't score if you have a center on the floor who can't shoot. So do you suddenly need to draft Cameron Boozer because he's playing your 4 or 5 and playing as the fulcrum of the offense, because the same way Nikola Jokic is the one player that seems to bother Victor Wembanyama?
What about the other side, David? How would you guard him? And what did you think about how Oklahoma City decided to?
Well, I mean, they did it first. They were the ones who kind of was it last year in the playoffs, or where was it last? Was it in the? When did they first put Caruso? Was that in the playing game this year?
Could have been in the in-season tournament.
In-season tournament, yeah.
Yes, could have been
in-season tournament. Yeah, in-season. They were the first to do this with Caruso. I'm not sure I think this is the answer.
I don't think it is.
Well, he had 40 points last night.
But I don't like Isaiah Hartenstein is probably the answer because he can be you're just being really physical with him and try to wear him down, but then you can't play on the other side.
It's the hard part. You need a heavy guy on that end.
Well, I got to say, I got a tweet today, and I have decided not to light the guy up. So it's like, you get those tweets, and you're like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And like 6 hours later, you're going to do it. Like, this is probably the one where I'm going to do it. It was some old, I don't even actually know anything about this person, but I've just absolutely decided that this person is 65 years old and angry. And I'd love to see what Wemby would do back in the days with one of the big bruising centers. Because, Billy Pulse is going to cause him a freaking problem. What are we talking about? Felton Spencer is going to guard Victor Wembanyama. He's going to pull him out to 27 feet, drive by, and dunk on his ass every time. What are we talking about? So, the idea that you just put a big burly guy on him to try to beat him up, and he's just going to he can go out to 30 feet. And then he's just going to play in space on you, and you can't move. So, I don't know the answer.
Yusuf Nurkic had very good success against him this year.
Heavy, make him tired.
Yeah. But what does Nurk do that you talked about earlier? He does the top of the key, dribble handoff, and then on the other side, he can actually lean on you for a little while, and you hope in game 60, Victor's not giving it his all.
Right. And I think that's right. And that's what Jokic does to him, right? Jokic leans on him and just wait and just is heavy on him. But it's I just think this kid has. I also just think the thing that we're not talking enough about is how hard he plays.
Yeah.
He runs the floor and plays so hard every minute of every act. I mean, he really is on the Russell Westbrook scale of play hard, which is incredible. I mean, that's what I think is so magical about Victor is just how hard he plays. And that's actually what my reaction was on that Scoot Henderson-Victor Wembanyama game in Henderson, Nevada when they played. That's what I left that game with. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy plays that hard. Same thing with Chet, actually. When I watched Chet in Gonzaga, that's what jumped out was how hard he played. So I think, I don't know the answer, and I'm fascinated to see what Mark Dagnall does next. Dagnall, by the way, side note, I'm just kind of babbling, but those 2 inbound plays late in the game last night, where he got Shea on the left-hand side with Victor pulled, and then the other time where he had Shea drive the baseline and Victor had to decide between him or Holmgren for the 3, those are pretty magical half-court spacing sets. They've got to find a way to do that in just a regular half-court set because really the story is they can't score. I mean, I think their offensive rating last night was a 103, and they've been below league average in their 5 games against them this year.
David, Ben is such an obnoxious Knicks fan. I can't help but cheer for Cleveland in this Eastern Conference final. So tell me why Donovan Mitchell can get the Cavs past the Knicks.
I feel like Cleveland is I thought actually Cleveland's Game 7 was the first time Cleveland's played like I thought Cleveland should all year. Cleveland's been like this mercurial group to me that I watch all year, and I'm like, wait, why aren't they better? Every time I watch Cleveland, I'm like, why aren't they better? Until Game 7. Then they were actually that good. But they're really good. Like, right? Like, they're like Kobe Altman put together, to me, like a nearly perfect team. He has Jared Allen and Evan Mobley, and they did a nice job of they did the whole lose for 3-4 years to get a bunch of players. Dean Wade, Max Strus, and Sam Merrill are kind of fabulous pieces to that puzzle, particularly Max Strus's ability to defend and be physical and rebound if he needs to. Harden and Garland are nice. Like, I love that roster. I think they're going to be tired. Harden and Donovan seem to be allergic to running at any point in time in either direction. It's kind of a weird thing. So I think that'll hurt them. But the Knicks don't. Jalen Brunson doesn't really want to run either. And Karl Anthony Towns doesn't want to run either. I think it's worth watching Cat in this series. Cat's assist rate against Philadelphia was one of the highest assist rates of any player ever in a playoff series, which is an interesting kind of way to think about him. But I also think it's relevant to the NBA draft of whether or not we really might be in a day and age where your 5 has to be playing out on the floor and passing and having open cutting lanes all around the basket with 4 shooters around him, or that's your way of dealing with non-shooters. I think and I think I will say this, back to the draft, I was not intending to have this sound like a Cameron Boozer show, but if you go look at the top 20 guys in the NBA who played handoff this year and the centers, 19 of them are basically non-shooters, and the 2 guys that are shooters, or one of them's only average and one of them's great, are Karl Anthony Towns and Nikola Jokic, and they are 1-2 in the league in handoff efficiency by a large margin. And if you believe Cameron Boozer is a shooter, then I think you have to ask yourself whether Cameron Boozer can become the fulcrum of your offense in that realm in a manner that's really virtually unstoppable right now. There's not a big that can shoot that plays the handoff game that is stoppable right now.
Well, I think the Wizards should take Cam Boozer number 1, and I mean that.
You do. I mean, I'm not. The more I watch, the more I'm heading that direction a little bit, I think. The only question on that is, can you afford? This might be stupid. Like, I think Cameron Boozer is the right player for 46 minutes of the night. And then, are you okay drafting a guy that with 2 minutes left in the game, you probably can't give him the ball to go make a play for
you? Yeah, that's the question. He's not Victor Wembanyama.
Right. But he's probably the better player for 45 minutes of the night.
Yeah, if you believe the math game, over 100 possessions, if he makes the right play 90 times, you're probably going to win that game.
And that's the argument on him, is he wins everything he does. Like, he really would not have lost if it wasn't for a miracle shot by UConn, because they probably would have won the title.
They lost 3 games this season by a combined 5 points. It's not an accident.
Right, and he was won whatever. I was also impressed, by the way. I mean, I was just coming off a deep dive on A-Cup the last 2 days. I was pretty impressed with him in big games, important moments and wins too. Right? He's on that U18 USA team. He's the MVP. He wins the Detroit Public High School League as a sophomore, and it's the first ever sophomore MVP of the league, of the Detroit Public High School League. That's a pretty good league. Ever. Like, A-Cup to me was like the 7th pick of the draft because he was too small. Then he measured at the combine. He wasn't too small. So I think there's 5 guys that should be talked about in this realm. But the Boozer conversation is really interesting, Ben. It's really interesting. Right? Over a course of 82 games and 82,000 possessions or whatever, 8,200 possessions, and he's going to play 36 minutes of those, so he's playing 75% of those, he probably is the better player than everyone involved. He's not as flashy, and in the final 3 minutes, you probably can't go give him the ball and tell him to drive to the basket.
Before we let you go, David, are you up here? Are you in Arizona? I guess what I'm asking, what time zone are you in? Because our guy, Jamil, is going to be on Wheel of Fortune on the 26th, and I don't want you to miss it. You got to look up your local listings. Make sure you know when the wheel's coming on.
For some silly reason, I returned when it snowed. I came back from the desert and came to my house and got 4.5 inches of snow at my house. I did not time this correctly. So I am here now, and if I lose another bike day or two to weather, I'll get out of here and come back a little bit later.
Well, whatever. Just be back home by what time does the wheel come on here, Ben? Like 4:30, 5:30?
Is it that early?
It's
an old
one of those.
person
We
show.
got to watch our guy.
And do we know how he did, and we are not saying, or has he been?
He's been NDA'd.
Yeah, he didn't tell me.
NDA'd, and we're all respecting that.
Yeah.
He didn't tell me.
So I'm sure you can bet on it.
You can't bet on the wheel. You think?
Can bet on everything.
No way.
You can bet on what David's next word is going to say. Yeah.
Well, I think it's very exciting. We know a true celebrity.
I mean, it wouldn't be like we'd have like markets in which people like knew things beforehand and put money down on it, and then like made lots of money on things, betting random things that they knew the outcome of, so that they could win a lot of money. Would it? We wouldn't have that going on. That doesn't exist, does it?
No.
I think that was in the news lately. I don't know. I think
Oh,
that might have
I was
happened.
just checking.
David, thank you. We appreciate
Yeah.
you. Thanks for coming on.
Congrats on the big jump, and well earned for both of you. It's really fun to listen to, and congratulations.
Thanks, Locke.
Thanks, David.
That means a lot. Appreciate you.
Bye.
All right, that's our guy, David Locke, radio voice of the Utah Jazz and host of Locked On Jazz, the podcast. But most people, I think, already knew that.
Correct.
Stay tuned. Hot Take Tuesday is next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Catch the NBA playoffs on Sling TV, the most flexible live TV streaming service, putting consumers in control to watch games their way with flexible subscriptions. Want to catch one game or a full series on ESPN? Grab a 1, 3, or 7-day pass. If you want to catch as many games as possible, get a monthly subscription with our ABC, NBC, and ESPN combo package. Either way, Sling lets you watch the playoffs your way with no long-term contracts. Learn more at sling.com.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Your vehicle doesn't just get you from here to there. It's a bridge to the people and places that matter most. It's how you show up for your family, your community, and everyone else that depends on you. That's why for 125 years, Firestone has been building tires with one thing in mind: to deliver products that are as reliable as you are. Firestone, always dependable. Since 1900.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. It's time for Hot Take Tuesday, where you just got to come up with a hot take about something. Ben's usually all over the board on these things. I'm eager to see where you're going. Apparently, you have a list.
I keep a list because I'm a dumb person and I will forget my hot takes. But apparently, they do cycle through my head more often than I realize.
Okay. Well, get us started. Let's hear it.
Okay. I really only want to go with one today, so I hope you guys both have some.
Uh-huh.
But I'll give you my hot take. And I don't know if it's even I'll just say it. I think Will Ferrell has had the most disappointing career of any contemporary actor.
Okay.
What do you mean by disappointing?
So, if we're looking at his archetype, and we can treat this the way athletes are, you look at his arrival at his peak and compare it to peers who had that same career arc. We're talking about the greatest SNL stars of their moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you can say Chevy Chase, you could say Dan Aykroyd, you could say Martin Short, you could say Bill Murray, you could say Eddie Murphy, you could say Tina Fey, any number of people who were at one point the draw to SNL. And I think Will Ferrell held that title as long as anybody in our lifetime. 3 or 4 years, Will Ferrell's run on SNL was insane. So funny. He re-hosted again over the weekend. He was the host of their season finale on Saturday, and it was unwatchable.
Pretty bad?
It was so bad. And I think some of it is they were trying to channel what made him funny in the early 2000s. But even then, I think back, he had a couple of funny movies post-SNL, during SNL. I think Old School is pretty funny. I think I don't mind even like his basketball one, not Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, that's it.
No, the Flint, Michigan Tropics. It's the what's his stupid?
Oh, Tropic Thunder is the
Army one.
Yeah.
He had a couple of funny kind of sports-ish movies.
I never saw that movie, by the way.
It's silly, stupid, but it kind of has enough funny basketball humor in it that I think so works. Semi-pro. He had a couple of movies in that realm that really worked.
Mm-hmm.
He had his funny one, Stranger Than Fiction, that I thought is A+. And I thought, okay, this guy's got like an arc. This guy's about to hit a new level of, real important movies or fun movies that last. The way Eddie Murphy, I feel like, did. The way certainly Bill Murray has. The way Martin Short certainly has. And he's done nothing but crap and is irrelevant. And the most important thing he does now is...
The commercial?
The MasterCard commercials?
No,
whatever
it's
his
for PayPal.
PayPal or whatever it is. It's like his only legacy now, unfortunately, after being what I thought was maybe the funniest person on the planet, certainly in our country, for a very important part of my life. And I get that everyone's favorite SNL cast is the one they were watched in high school. That's absolutely true. But all those other guys I mentioned, or women I mentioned, have gone on to have better careers or other careers post-SNL. And Will Ferrell stinks.
Yeah, I think he's allergic to a good script. I agree.
So my hot take is huge disappointment, especially for a guy who came out hitting grand slams.
I'd say Anchorman was the only good, funny movie that he did where he was the lead role.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Old School, he wasn't the lead role. And
No, he
was
wasn't.
funny. He was funny in Wedding Crashers, but he really wasn't the lead role.
Real cameo.
But pretty much everything else.
Crap.
You guys aren't Step Brothers fans.
He did, no, I'm not.
No, I'm not
he did a skating movie with Napoleon Dynamite.
Horrible.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Unwatchable.
I once watched the whole stand-up special he did as George W. Bush, which I was like, oh, this is going to be funny. It absolutely was not.
Garbage.
So, yeah, his Harry Carey was funny.
Yeah, no, again, his SNL stuff is all-time great. The same way all those other names I mentioned were great, but they found a way to do something else 15 years later, 20 years later, and he's doing Venmo commercials or whatever it is.
All right, Christian, hot take?
Yeah, this comes on the news today that Rashid Rice is going to jail for 30 days, Chiefs wide receiver.
Uh-huh.
I think their dynasty might be over. I honestly don't know if Patrick Mahomes is going to make another Super Bowl.
Without Rashid Rice?
I just think
with
that
him
Chiefs,
missing minicamp?
not just Rashid Rice, but I mean, yeah, Travis Kelce's old and going to retire. They don't have any other receivers. I just don't know, man. I think that the good old days are behind him.
What's he going to jail for this time? It was reckless driving originally, and
Yeah.
he was on
That
probation.
incident.
He violated
yeah.
the probation with weed.
Oh, okay. He tested positive for marijuana.
Yeah.
Okay.
30,
Which is why it's 30 days, but not
that's
several years.
That's a pricey joint right there.
Yeah, it's not worth it.
30 days in jail.
Hell. Yeah, Christians out here burning you because you were burning one down.
Yeah.
And you're burning down Patrick Mahomes'
Tough.
career.
It's pricey.
Too many talented teams in the AFC. I just don't see. I mean, there are several other teams that I would pick over the Chiefs.
We can stop taking this seriously because
I just think they're just not even the best team in their division.
I forgot about.
I just don't think they're the best team in their division anymore.
Oh, I forgot about Donks fan Christian. I can't believe I'm saying this. First time in my life. Go Chiefs. Hope they smoke the Donks next year.
Week 1 at Kansas City.
Throw picks. I hope he throws like 20. I have a couple of hot takes. This is really a hot take for me. I feel like I, for once, can really identify with LeBron James.
Okay.
Did you see where he was yesterday?
I did not.
He was at a grand opening of the Omnia Club, and I'll explain why this is relevant, and I can identify in a sec. But it's at Caesars Palace.
Okay.
New club at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. You know I love Vegas.
Uh-huh.
Caesars is awesome.
Okay.
I once tried to get into Christina Aguilera's birthday party at that. Not this nightclub, but a nightclub. Kind of funny. It's going to be really expensive. But Ben, this is a day club. It's not a nightclub. It's a day club. I can totally identify. LeBron, how self-aware is this? He's 41. I'm 44.
Uh-huh.
My days of going to nightclubs are
long behind you.
Basically in the rearview mirror.
Sure.
You know what I could get on board with?
Day club.
Going to a day club, buddy.
Day club.
Day club. So if LeBron's opening clubs as a 41-year-old man, open some day clubs, dude. I'm totally on board with this. Brilliant. By the way,
is LeBron opening this? What's it called?
Omnia.
Omnia.
The day club at Caesars Palace. It was a big hit. They had a big DJ. Other celebs were there. LeBron opening day clubs now. Totally on board. By the way, didn't Adele used to have a residency at Caesars? Pretty sure she did.
Probably.
She's pulling strings, bro.
Hello. Well, remember, LeBron said he wanted to be the person that owned the Vegas NBA team, but he's not going to be able to get together that $10 billion it's going to cost to open it.
And then my second hot take today, they should arrest Kim Kardashian right now.
Okay.
A British court sentenced a truck driver to prison for smuggling 7 million pounds worth of cocaine in a shipment of underwear and clothing from Skims, Kim Kardashian's shapewear brand.
I didn't know that was a Kim thing, but that makes sense. Skims.
Skims. That's a Kim Kardashian thing.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell is he's a model for them.
Yeah, I remember that. That was a huge joke. Not Donovan Mitchell. That was a huge joke inside the Jazz's locker room this year. Every time after a game somebody played well or whatever, they said he was playing in Skims. That was the joke, that this player was playing in Skims. That was always the joke this year with the Jazz locker room.
I mean, really, you've heard about, like, I knew of a car dealership once that didn't care if they sold one single car because they
had something else going on.
They were dealing cocaine out of the car dealership. My wife and I were convinced there was this restaurant was by where she lived when she went to law school. Nobody was ever in it. It was open all the time.
This is Gilbert Arenas being like, oh, they were just renting my house for all these illegal poker games or whatever it was. I had nothing to do with it. I didn't know.
So this would be a very Kim Kardashian thing. You'd sell some average clothes to some
how many
to
pounds
some
or
suckers,
$7 million?
But use it as a tool to move cocaine.
Traffic. Yeah. Okay. I can
7 million pounds.
Oh, pounds. Okay. Wait, 7 million pounds as in dollars?
No, 7 million pounds is in pounds.
Pounds as in weight.
$9.4 million of cocaine. That's what it says. 7 million pounds. Oh, that must be the value in
Europe.
In Britain.
In Britain. Okay, that's what I was wondering.
So that makes more sense.
7 million
No.
pounds.
7
that's
million,
some kind of boat.
$9.4 million worth of cocaine. Apologies. That's a dumb mistake. Yeah.
That is why I wanted to know. I said that's a lot.
Let's see. The agency said he was on his way to collect 90 kilograms, 198 pounds of cocaine, which makes a lot more sense. 7 million pounds of coke would be...
It's a world.
What?
All of the worlds.
That would be a bold smuggling operation.
You would really have to have a lot of Skims to cover that up.
7 million pounds in one place at one time. Bold.
Yeah.
No, but they should obviously arrest Kim.
She must be behind it.
Absolutely. You think it? That's funny. You think a truck full of her clothes is not under her purview? Of course it is. She didn't pass the bar. She's got nothing else to do. Ship cocaine through her Skims line.
I'm sure she's not thrilled about this. And if she had something to do with it, look out.
Oh, no. Chris will quash this in a second.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Chris and her boyfriend were also at LeBron's Day Club debut.
Okay, old people hanging out.
Day club!
Old people hanging
Day
out during
club,
the day.
dude!
They call this canasta. You and I have both worked at hotels, and we saw the old ladies come in and play mahjong and they'd order one iced tea, and they would sip on it for 4 hours, and they'd sit in the atrium or wherever it is in your hotel, and that's what's going on. LeBron is in his mahjong group.
Dude, hit me a gin, Ricky, and let's play some shuffleboard, man. I'm on it.
Let's do it.
Sounds awesome.
And LeBron.
Stay tuned. More Jacob Ben next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Dedication isn't born in the light of day. It's carved in the quiet hours before the world blinks awake. At Boar's Head, we rise with a mission to deliver craftsmanship worthy of your table. A slice of something special folded into every moment worth savoring. Because dedication means delivering only the very best. Boar's Head, committed to craft since 1905.
You won the bid. You're on the job. Now you just need the materials. Get supplies that work as hard as you do from the Home Depot. Maximize your savings with pricing benefits for pros. Get savings on the products you purchase the most and earn perks at checkout. Sign up today to save time and money. The Home Depot Pro. It's about time.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. The chocolate crispy taste gonna make your day. And wherever you go, you hear the people say, give me a break, give me a break. Break me off a piece of that Kit Kat bar. Have a break, have a Kit Kat.
Hey, sweetie, your mother showed me this Carvana thing for selling the car. I'm going to give it a try. Wish me luck. Me again. I put in the license plate. It gave me an offer. Unbelievable. Okay, I accepted the offer. They're picking it up Tuesday from the driveway. I haven't even left my chair. It's done. The car's gone. I'm holding a check. Anyway, Carvana, give it a whirl. Love ya.
So good, you'll want to leave a voicemail about it. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
For those crazy busy, crazy hungry days when cooking family dinner is off the table, there's Applebee's All You Can Eat, a table full of unlimited favorites for just $15.99. You get all the tender signature riblets, all the crispy boneless wings, all the golden brown double crunch shrimp, and endless classic fries at a family-friendly price. Applebee's All You Can Eat for just $15.99 per person per order. Now that's eating good in the neighborhood. Limited time only, so hurry into your nearest Applebee's today.
No crazy soundbite slips past these guys.
I came here for the same reason people go to the zoo.
This is another edition of the Audio Vault with Jake and Ben. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jacob Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It's time for the Audio Vault. Best sound of the day here on the Jacob Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Ben, today's submission comes from, it's a 40-year anniversary.
Okay.
Of Michael Jordan going on David Letterman's show. Now, in 1986, would Dave still have been after The Tonight Show?
I think he was still doing the Late Show was what he ended up doing. What was it called?
Well, it wasn't the Late Show, right? It was the one Conan inherited.
Yes.
It was the slot after The Tonight Show.
Yes, after Johnny Carson.
Right. And so Michael Jordan went on to talk about his brand new sneaker. Now, you know more about this than I do. What version is it?
Apparently, I just looked it up. This is the Jordan 2.
The Jordan 2
was going to be debuting in November of that year, but maybe starting to get
a little energy.
A little advertising going.
All right. So let's go ahead and play this clip. Michael Jordan with Dave Letterman.
I got one thing to say.
Yeah, what's that?
I see Adidas shoes.
All right, now, Michael, is this the shoe? Now, of course, we can't show what kind of shoe this is.
Yeah, that's okay. The color stands for
But
it.
is this the shoe that the NBA wouldn't let you wear?
Yeah.
Now, why wouldn't they let you wear it? Just because it's ugly, I guess, for starters.
Hey, I agree with you. They are ugly.
Now, wait a minute. Didn't you help design these?
It's the shoe, not the coloring.
Oh, not the color.
Have anything to do with
okay,
the
so,
color.
but what's wrong with the coloring? What rule do we violate here?
Well, it doesn't have any white in it.
Uh-huh. Well, neither does the NBA.
Well, Letterman's always been one of the quickest comedians. It was okay. So I'm looking back at which shoe got banned. Even though the Jordan 2 got released in '86, the shoe that did get banned because it didn't have any white on the actual shoe itself was the Jordan 1. So just to clarify,
calling it ugly.
And then Michael called it ugly because he said it didn't have white.
Yeah,
so
that's
it is
what I'm
just black
saying.
and red.
I wonder that feeling, because I'm sure they were excited to show the shoe to Michael. Let's say that he did find it ugly. Wouldn't that be just a terrible feeling where you're like, oh, they're rolling out a shoe by it's my shoe, the MJ, and then they roll it in and it's just hideously ugly. What's his name? Steph, when they rolled out the first Under Armours for Steph. Remember how bad those were?
Yes.
I think Steph is like, oh, I love it.
It's like getting the wrong gift for Christmas.
You guys killed it. Loved it.
Thanks. You got me Major League 3.
Yeah.
My favorite movie.
Yeah, the awkwardness, right?
Yeah.
Because you don't want to, somebody worked really hard on that shoe. You don't want to let them down.
Was it Major League 3?
Yeah, it was Major League 3.
You got a gift from somebody.
Back to the minors.
Is that the one with the Salt Lake Bees?
It is.
Yeah. That's cool.
It's not.
It was the buzz.
It was the buzz, and it's not.
Anyways, neither here nor there.
Yeah, an older girlfriend. She said, I know Major League's your favorite movie. I got you the DVD.
Major League 3.
Major League 3, Back to the Minors. You could like see the tag where she got it from the grocery store, $1.99 from the bin.
Sev.
In the discount bin?
Yeah, in the bin. It's Sev next to the sunglasses. Really thinking about me.
Oh, you found that, did you?
Cool that Michael at that point was still a member of the public. She's really not anymore. We don't see Michael anymore.
What do you mean? He was basically a co-host for NBC's NBA show.
He recorded 25 minutes in one sit down with Mike Tirico, and they spliced it up into as many segments as they could.
It's probably not even. It probably wasn't even 25 minutes.
No, it probably was not. I remember the first day, and I thought, oh, that's kind of interesting. And he said, I wish I could still play. And then he said, yeah, I haven't played basketball in a long time. I shot a free throw once in front of a family, and I got nervous, and I made it. And that was the last thing I ever remember him saying. And now he does his racing stuff. And there was a story of him came out over the weekend of his teacher from high school was dying and wanted to hug his student. So he called her on the phone, which is not quite a hug, but it's close. Phone call. He FaceTimed her as she was dying. That was kind of cool. But yeah, we don't see Michael anymore.
But NBC couldn't wait to tell you that he was basically an analyst.
He's hosting.
He's one of the hosts.
Color analyst.
He's going to be
play-by-play.
Every single night.
Well, they called him like a celebrity guest host or something.
They
right?
did,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, they shot a brief interview in his living room or something.
Yeah, in 2018. Like, we dug it up. We thought we deleted this.
If everyone wanted a piece of you, like Michael Jordan, would you make people bend over backwards just to get the most minimum, just because you can?
The way Michael does?
Yeah.
I might just disappear entirely.
That'd almost be better.
Yeah, nothing at all. Everyone wants too much. I can't fulfill what you want. I've got my billions. I'm cool.
Just be a shoe exec who lives in a gated community?
Yeah, has my own golf course. Is a ghost.
That sounds pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad.
But I think that's kind of what he wants to do, right?
Yeah. And you know what?
But
He's
I'm sure
entitled to
NBC
that.
just begs him to come on
And he'll
do
give
whatever.
whatever money.
Yeah.
Yeah, he says, fine. If you stop calling me, I'll show up.
But you have to come out to my house. And they say, sure.
Yeah, we'll fly out. Tarico's there now.
Yeah, right. I don't think he wants to do it.
Agreed. There's no way he wanted to do that.
No. Well, maybe he's addicted to the attention. That could be true.
Some type of it.
But no, Magic Johnson is addicted to the attention. You can't be that bad on TV and then just keep showing up time after time after time.
Correct.
Or tweet out the most inane, obvious things you've ever seen in your life.
You're right. I don't think Michael actually loves it. I'm sure he likes some of it and wants to keep some of it because you don't ever want to fully let it go. But he doesn't seem to ever do it conveniently.
No, because he doesn't want people to know actually who he is. In all seriousness.
I think that's probably true.
I mean, that's why The Last Dance turned out the way that it. Michael is a PR creation.
Yeah, he is.
He might be the best PR person to ever have done it. He's he's brilliant. I mean, how much do you know about Michael's somewhat messy personal life? Very little.
Correct. Yeah, nothing.
I mean, if his son didn't date Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, we probably wouldn't even know about any of them.
Right. Yes, his son.
No, we talked about the one getting arrested.
Yeah, the DUI.
In Florida.
Yeah. Which might have been, was that not the Larsa Pippen one?
I think that's the same guy. It was
Marcus.
because his heart was broken, remember? He was spinning out
He
because
was so sad he and Kim Kardashian were running.
Cocaine, yeah, and Adam Gase probably. Who was that put Adam Gase on blast for doing Le'Veon Bell? My new favorite interview in sports. That sound effect alone. What did he say? What he called it, cocaina?
Mm-hmm.
Anywho, Michael's done a pretty good job about keeping the
Adam
myth.
Gase is on that cocaina.
The myth of Michael Jordan alive.
Yeah, he's done a good job. Less has been way more for Michael.
But there's a reason he was so sensitive about Charles Barkley calling him a bad owner.
Mm-hmm.
It's because he's not worried about being a good owner. He's worried about you thinking he is a bad owner.
And by the way, Charles was right.
Yeah, absolutely, Charles
Mike
was
left,
right.
and that thing started to skyrocket immediately. Now,
I
they
don't
haven't
know
done a
about
great job, but they're headed in the right direction.
They would appear so.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. Live at 5. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.
It's the best station, period. Let's be honest. These guys have the best job on the planet.
You come to work in a frickin' bathrobe?
So if you're out there working hard, you should also expect your radio hosts to put in an honest day's work. So, of course, Jake and Ben are live at 5 with the biggest headlines and the best analysis in Utah. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. It is time for Live at 5, which is brought to you by Trajan Wealth. Call Trajan today, your local trusted financial fiduciary, 1-855-TRAJAN-1, or visit their website at TrajanWealth.com. Here's the great part about Live at 5. Anything could happen at any time.
Mm-hmm.
And the big story of the day probably remains Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. But we do have breaking NBA news, which I'm totally surprised by, Ben.
Yes. The Dallas Mavericks say they have agreed to mutually part ways with head coach Jason Kidd.
Masai Ujiri, not a fan, huh?
I'm not sure exactly what happened here, but Jason Kidd apparently, the story was, wanted to move into that role, president of basketball ops, which Masai Ujiri now has for the Dallas Mavericks, and maybe was done coaching, and he is done coaching. At least with the Dallas Mavericks and this run, this era.
I don't think he was a very good coach when he coached in Brooklyn. I don't think he did a very good job when he coached in Milwaukee. I do think he did a pretty good job in Dallas.
Certainly did a better job in Dallas than he had done at his previous stops.
And navigated some rough waters. It had to be Luka's coach, which can't be fun. Then had to work for your guy. You were just talking about him during the break.
Nico?
Yes, Nico.
Yeah.
He had to then went through an ownership transition. And now, you got to guess that Ujiri probably wanted to hire his own coach, I'm guessing. I'd be really curious to see who they hire because that's a really good job right now.
I'm curious about how good of a job it is, to be honest with you. I do like Masai Ujiri a lot. I do not like the Dumonts. I'm really worried about their ownership if I'm a fan of that team. But you have a very good player in Cooper Flagg. You have the piece that's hardest to find, a legit, I think, number one guy. Mm-hmm. And you have it. And you're in a big market. Now, the hard part is they do not have any future draft picks. This was their last year to have a draft pick. They traded them all away to build a team around Luka, and then Nico traded Luka and didn't get picks back, enough picks back certainly to make it worthwhile. So that was a major issue. So they've got to figure something out to get some pieces around Cooper Flagg. And I don't know exactly how you do it. But because we know free agency is mostly dead, probably going to have to trade Kyrie. If you can get something for him, maybe you build around that. But this is the crazy thing. This is according to Tim McMahon from ESPN. Sources told ESPN that Jason Kidd has 4 years and more than $40 million remaining on his contract after signing extensions each of the last 2 years. He just keeps getting more and more and more.
It's going to be expensive to get rid of him.
And now Patrick Dumont authorized Masai Ujiri to make this decision. So, yeah, this was Masai Ujiri's choice, though they said it was mutual. I don't believe that, obviously. And, yeah, they're willing to pay the price.
I don't think the son-in-law knows what he's doing. But this league is all about players. Sometimes bad ownership groups win because they've got the right player.
You're Jerry Reinsdorf.
Jerry Reinsdorf, your guy.
Yep.
The Bulls of the 90s did not win because he was a brilliant owner.
No.
Sometimes brilliant owners lead to winning. It can go hand in hand. But just because you're working for a bozo owner doesn't necessarily make it a bad job. Jim Harbaugh took the Chargers job.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that goes. But that ownership group's a disaster.
Yeah.
But you know what they have? Your guy, Justin Herbert.
Good player. And they're for sale, right?
The Chargers? I don't think so.
Are they not?
No.
I thought the Chargers were just up for sale. I think of the Padres. Maybe I'm thinking of the Padres.
It's not the
Even
Chargers.
they just got sold. So I must be thinking of somebody else entirely. This will be interesting. I'm curious. I was watching the games last night between San Antonio and Oklahoma City. And I thought, where did the Jazz stack up against these teams? Can they get to this quality of play, this level of play? And obviously they're not there today, but we don't know anything about what this team looks like for the Jazz. And then for whatever reason, I was thinking about the Dallas Mavericks of you've got Cooper Flagg, and maybe Cooper can be in this conversation, to be one of the top 10 players in the NBA. He has that type of potential. But are they close anywhere else? They're not. They've got a long ways to go. This is going to be a little while for them to rebuild. So I'll be curious who they bring in to take that job.
Well, Kyrie, they're going to move him.
They'd
be really foolish if they didn't. They're going to have to lean into going young without draft picks, which is kind of an interesting challenge. But if you've got a player to build around, listen, what's the best skill Phil Jackson ever had? I mean this somewhat tongue-in-cheek. He picked the right players to take credit for.
Yeah. Yes.
He's like, I know. I can latch myself to that Michael Jordan wagon.
Strawberry. Go hit that home run.
Yeah.
I told him to do that.
The Lakers have Kobe and Shaq. Somehow Del Harris was too dumb to succeed.
You, Strawberry, hit a home run. Okay, Skip.
Feels like
I told him to do that.
Feels like I could step in there and take credit for Shaq and Kobe. Yeah.
I just think I might be the man for this job.
I'm your guy. And if I were a coach looking to latch on to a superstar, you could do worse.
Yep, you absolutely could.
Look at what's his name with San Antonio, Nate Johnson, right? Am I getting that right? No,
Mitch.
I'm not. Mitch Johnson, thank you. Look at that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Who knows if he knows how to coach a lick?
No, Ime Udoka got all this credit with Boston. He did okay. And now Joe Mazzulla got all his credit with Boston. It's like, yeah, well, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown and Drew Holiday and Kristaps Porzingis and Derek White. It's a pretty good crew, actually. There's some dudes on that team. Maybe it wasn't all you, actually.
At least 2 Hall of Famers. It's a good place to start.
Good place to start.
Good place to start.
And look, Jason Kidd also had Luka and had some very good players on that roster around him as well. So maybe Jason Kidd's not the right guy. But yeah, they're going to have to get creative. They're going to have to be interesting here, where they go. Sounds like Billy Donovan kind of starting to circle around the Orlando Magic job.
How does or not Dallas, but Orlando.
And
okay.
Jamal Mosley just ended up to fill the New Orleans job that's open.
Nobody has any new ideas, do they?
But Dallas is open. Portland's still open. Are those the only jobs that are open? Chicago has not hired their coach yet, correct?
No. They just hired their executive.
Right. So there's a couple of jobs still open.
He should take the Portland job.
Milwaukee's filled.
Yeah, with your guy Taylor Jenkins.
That's not good for Portland. Speaking of El Cheapo, if they were the only job, that gives them at least a little bit of leverage. If there was all demand and no supply, that's good for Portland. Well, there's 3 jobs that are open, and inarguably they're all better jobs in Portland because you want to make more than $800,000 a year, and apparently that's what they're going to pay.
Yeah, they don't want a top candidate anyways.
Yeah, we don't want the best guy, so maybe it doesn't matter to them. They're going to really think outside the box, have the team coached by the same hockey coach.
They should do what Reinsdorf did. He hired a baseball guy to be their GM.
Come on over.
Hire, I don't know, who's managing the Portland Timbers.
So this is interesting. Honestly,
hire them.
It's probably honestly, if you're a Jazz fan, good news for the Jazz.
What, Jason Kidd getting fired?
Any type of disruption, chaos amongst Western Conference teams that could conceivably get good relatively quickly, and Dallas is in that conversation, the more chaos, the better.
Hell, if Jason Kidd was the right man for the job, I think Ujiri was a great hire for them. We can hammer on the son-in-law all we want, but he hired Ujiri, and he took a swing at other really good GMs. He wasn't out there to reinvent the wheel, which appears to be what the Portland guy is trying to do.
Correct. So we'll see. Yeah, but fun to be able to talk about that live at 5.
As it happened.
Yeah.
Happened just a few minutes ago. Jason Kidd out. Love the mutual part. That means that this is the mutual part. They said, "Hey, Jason, you're fired."
And he said,
"Can we negotiate on your buyout?" And he said, "No."
But I will leave the building.
But I will leave the building. And they said, "Mutual."
You have an agreement. We're in agreement. You're not taking a pay cut, and we're not going to let you be here anymore. Deal.
Hey, Jason, how much of that 40 do we need to pay you? All of it.
Again, it's a reminder, though, of how quickly the NBA changes. Again, I'm not riding off the Oklahoma City Thunder after losing to the San Antonio Spurs last night. In fact, I still think they're probably the favorites to win the series. Maybe they don't, but that's how quickly the league changes. But a few years ago, Luka goes to the finals with a good, not great team around him. And everyone thought, okay, Luka's here. It's going to be Luka's Western Conference for the rest of time. He's not even on the team anymore. The head coach is gone. Most of the players from that roster are gone. That's how quickly it changes.
Dude, I think I might be siding on, after seeing the details of this deal, I might be coming down more with El Cheapo, in all honesty. No coach is worth a $40 million contract, let alone a $40 million contract to go away. That contract for Jason Kidd was ludicrous.
Uh-huh.
That's what they're paying for average coaches
That's what
nowadays?
NBA coaches make $10
Oh,
million.
man, I'd cheap out too.
$1 million.
Yeah, right. And then if it doesn't work, I'll see you later. I don't owe you squat.
Get me some good players first.
How many wins was Jason Kidd in his $10 million a year worth this year? None.
Yeah,
That's the answer. Nothing. What coach is worth $10 million? In all seriousness, what NBA coach is actually worth that?
No, this goes back to the hilarious question that I can't remember, some Boston geek was the nicest word I can think of. Can't remember what his name is. He's kind of a national guy. Was like, if you had to start over in the NBA, you would take LeBron as your first player. He said Giannis is your second player. And I think you're going with Brad Stevens third. What? Brad Stevens? Why? Why Brad Stevens? No coach has ever been worth that much. Give me the greatest coach of all time. And then give me whatever the 30th best player of all time, and I'll take the 30th best player of all time over the greatest coach
every
ever.
time.
Every single time.
No, honestly, Phil stepping in and winning in L.A., did that say more about Phil or did it say more about Del Harris, who proved multiple times that he was not a very good coach?
I am not cut out for this.
Did Steve Kerr stepping into Golden State, is he some genius or was Mark Jackson just a moron?
Exactly right.
You know?
I'm not good at this.
Or even Phil the first time. Doug Collins didn't end up a broadcaster and not a coach because he was awesome.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah, exactly right. No, you're exactly right.
So, yeah, I'd go Coach Cooper Flag. You, Cooper, go dunk that basketball.
Yeah.
I told him to do that. But I'm trying to think if there's, Spo's great. Is Spo worth that kind of dough? I don't think so.
They don't win 50 games every year. Not even close. No.
You love Mike Brown. He's not worth that.
Look, you're worth whatever you can make. I really don't care.
The sommelier?
You're worth whatever you can make.
Would you give the sommelier a $40 million contract? Is he that important?
No, I don't believe they are.
No.
But if you can make it, go get it. But here's the problem: they're going to replace him with another $10 million coach. Like this is
who
just
they're going to pay $40 million
for coaches.
He could pay $40 million, but it's not. That's what El Cheapo in Portland is trying to prove.
He's trying to prove
they're going to set the market for
He's
coaches.
yet to do that.
To hire a young coach, you think I was promised, but it's going to work for $800,000 a year.
Well, they tried to hire the St. Louis coach, the coach from St. Louis basketball, and he said, "I make more money at St. Louis basketball than you're offering me." And they said, "Next." It's like, okay. I make more money.
Yeah.
I don't have to take your crappy job. Rightfully so. So we'll see what the Mavericks do. Curious.
I wonder.
Yeah.
I wonder how demand that spot will be. Ben, the big story of the day, though, is the Spurs now have a 1-0 lead over the Oklahoma City Thunder after an absolute thriller double overtime game, which really everybody is casting the shine on Victor Wembanyama, and he was absolutely fantastic. But I do think, and you made the point earlier in the show, and I think you're right, I don't think Oklahoma City played even close to their best basketball.
No, and Wemby had a part in that. They only shot 41% from the floor. They did shoot 38% from three, and they had a couple of guys step in. Aaron Wiggins particularly did not shoot the ball well. Now, that was made up by Alex Caruso shooting 8 of 14 from three. He had the best game of his career. But Shea was 2 of 7. Lou Dort was 1 of 5. J-Dub was 1 of 3 from downtown. Like, very legitimately, they can continue to shoot 38% from 3 because those guys are better shooters, even if Alex Caruso drops off some. I don't expect Shea to go 7 of 23 because Shea never goes 7 of 23.
No, he's way more efficient.
He's a 55% 2-point percentage shooter or 2-point shooter. It's crazy. So I don't expect that to happen, and they will adjust. These are great players. These are the best players in the world. They will adjust. Now, we had David Locke on the show earlier, and he said, Isaiah Hartenstein got kind of played out of the series within the first 3 minutes. I don't agree with that.
I don't either.
No, I think you have to have him out there. Because, yes, Locke was saying, well, if you put a big guy out there, Wemby's just going to scoot out and operate in space. I'll take my chances.
Yeah, I will too.
Because if he's playing against J-Dub or Alex Caruso or Lou Dort, he's drawing fouls or he's dunking every time. And those are actually way more efficient than Wemby out on the perimeter playing in space.
His point about the other side was an interesting one, that you have to get him out of the paint and not let him play free safety. You have to have someone who can shoot. Maybe.
Yeah, if you're going to make a commitment to getting to the rim, which you've got to get to the rim to be able to win, and Wemby's going to be there, it's going to be really difficult to do it.
And that was Locke's point. And Locke does get a little more focused on the offensive end than he does the defensive end. I wonder what's the lesser of two evils.
But Rudy was, at one point, the greatest defender at the rim in the NBA. Did the Jazz win the championship?
No.
And what did teams do? They drove past their guy and kicked it out to the perimeter.
Until you force an adjustment. Yeah.
Until you force an adjustment. Yeah, like you have tools too.
And that's what Oklahoma City needs to do, honestly. They need to get San Antonio out of their game.
Yeah.
That very much was a San Antonio-style basketball game last night.
Yes. You got to go back to playing your way. And they forced turnovers, and that did help. And that was not great from Steph Castle. What, do you have 11 turnovers in the game last night? It was crazy.
Sure did.
Honestly, you look at the box score, you might replicate that game plan with some tweaks on how you attacked and allowed Wemby to attack. I think you probably say, great, let's try it again. Because I don't think Shea's going to go 7 of 23, and we went to double overtime and had to lose that way. I don't think that's a bad strategy if you're OKC.
I guess I didn't even notice this as I was watching the game last night. Why did Lou Dort play so little? Was that foul trouble?
No, I think they also were having an issue. Well, I thought Alex Caruso was way better, and I think he got a lot of his minutes specifically because he was hitting threes. And Caruso was not. And Lou Dort was not.
Yeah, that certainly is true. Caruso went 8 for 14, whereas Dort was 1 for 5.
But, man, you can tell these teams are serious about winning. Obviously, it's the conference finals. Wemby played 49 minutes. Steph Castle played 49 minutes. Shea played 51 minutes. This is going to be a real slobber knocker going down the stretch.
So did Devin Vassell, who I kind of love.
Yeah, he's fun. Spurs have a great team. The Spurs absolutely have a chance to win the series, and obviously, and win the title. No doubt about it.
Vassell's like one of those glue dudes, though, that I think every team needs. And you look at his box score, you're like, meh. But what kind of an impact did he have on that game? Huge.
Hit some huge threes.
Well, he had a big block?
Uh-huh. Yeah, he did. He blocked Chet. And that's the other thing. Like, Chet, you make $40 million a year. You cannot disappear. End of story. I know you're playing against Victor. I know you were used as a decoy on the play Locke was talking about where you got Shea on one side and you had Victor on the other because he had to guard Chet in the corner. Well, first of all, they're going to adjust on that, and they're going to bring Wemby closer to the ball. So fine, Chet has to shoot over guys, and he has to actually hit his threes. But Chet in this game was 2 of 4 from downtown, which isn't bad, but it only took 7 shots total. Chet, pay you too much to be nothing. And the trade-off has to be, if you're going to have a big 3 in the NBA, I'm going to have my superstar, and I'm going to have my number 2 and number 3 guys. And if you commit everything to taking away my superstar, my number 2 and my number 3 guys are going to kill you. That has to be the equation. If they're taking away 2 of the top 3, which they didn't neutralize entirely, but contained Shea and destroyed Chet, yes, the Thunder aren't going to be able to win that series. So those number 2 and number 3 guys have to step up.
There is an Eastern Conference Finals starting tonight. We'll talk about that and more coming up next. It's the Jake and Ben Show, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
If the world were like a Sleep Number mattress, everything would adapt for your comfort. Because as your life changes and your body changes, Sleep Number mattresses adapt and shift to give you personalized comfort night after night. And now everything's on sale during our Memorial Day event. Save up to $1,200 on mattresses, plus free delivery when you add a base. Ends Monday. To experience a whole new world of comfort, visit a Sleep Number store or go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, to a good life sleep.
Shop with confidence at the Home Depot and get Memorial Day deals on Ryobi, the #1 cordless outdoor power brand. Both the Ryobi 18-volt and 40-volt self-propelled mower kits are on special buy for just $449 each, was $479. Ryobi's battery platform delivers the power, runtime, and dependability you need to tackle your yard work with ease. Shop Memorial Day deals on Ryobi Outdoor Power, only at the Home Depot. Pricing valid 5/14 through 5/27, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.
Having the right people in your corner for life's biggest milestones makes all the difference. Like a friend who's there when you're house hunting or checking out a new ride, State Farm is there too, helping you choose the coverage you need. With a State Farm agent, you know someone is there to help you along the way. And with so many coverage options, it's nice knowing you have help choosing a plan that fits your needs, so you can continue celebrating all of life's milestones. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Not only do these guys give you the best Jazz coverage in the market, they've got you covered with the Mammoth, the Cougars, the Utes, and the Aggies. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. It's been a fun day. Big thanks to Locke, who jumped on with us earlier today. We'll have that interview up online in podcast form. Shout out to our friends from the future, the fine podcasters. If you did not catch David, we'll get that up on its own. But really, we can't encourage you enough. Please, just download the whole show.
Yeah.
Download it and listen.
Fall asleep as you absorb us.
We had a call in the other day. By the way, go to the KSL Sports app, use the call-in feature, interact with the show, please. But we had a friend from the future who said that our moving time slot disrupted his. He used to listen at the gym, and now he has to listen during the day. What did he say he was doing?
Yeah, I thought it was just,
we could
just in the
replay it.
evening. He said he had to listen.
But
or
now
he listens
the next day.
Maybe he was listening at the gym the next day.
Because he was telling us what idiots we are now that he listens and hears our great predictions and analysis, and then actually sees what happens.
Let's hear it.
Do we want to? Yeah, let's hear it. Why not? We have time.
This message is for Jake and Ben, and maybe Christian if he's popping around too. As a podcast absorber from the future, I usually enjoy listening to the show in the evening at the gym, but with the new format and the new hour time slot, I've had to change my routine. Now I listen to it in the morning on my way to work, and while I'm in the office. It's been quite an adjustment, but my favorite part is getting to listen to your guys' analysis and predictions and takes after the events of such analysis has happened. The NBA Finals is way more enjoyable when you get to listen to people predict the game after the game. So keep up the good work. You guys are shooting maybe 50-50, so there's some room for improvement, which I have no doubt you'll completely ignore, but thank you.
True.
Keep up.
Thank you, Jared.
Jared, if you thought we knew what we were talking about the same day, maybe you're the idiot.
You guys are shooting 50-50.
Yeah, we're wrong. All the time.
All the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just kidding, Jared. Love you.
And people, the thing is, you talk about people always remember when you're wrong. Not always, but people remember when you're wrong or you look stupid.
Yeah.
We had where's somebody snapped in. We were talking about the 7 million pounds of cocaine and how it was 7 million pounds, like the
currency.
The currency,
yeah.
Not 7 million
pounds.
pounds.
Not weight.
And I got very confused. And big thanks to Jordan for snapping in. He says, I wonder if any pro bowlers had anything to do with that 7 million pounds of coke. Because
at one point you mistook pro bowlers for professional bowlers.
The clip I was introducing, it just said pro bowler Gary Clark, and then whatever the clip was about.
Adam Gase is on that coquina.
And I looked at Lloyd and I said, what is, because it was he was a lingerie football coach. I looked at Lloyd and I said, what does pro bowling got to do with lingerie
what does
football.
the PBA have to do with lingerie football? No.
No.
The NFL Pro Bowler.
But honestly, in my defense, if you're describing legendary Gary Clark, Super Bowl winner.
Sure.
I think he's a Hall of Famer.
Might have been an All-Pro.
He played for the Commies back in the day. He might have been an All-Pro. Great point.
Yeah.
Pro Bowler. Anyway, I think instead of 7 million pounds worth of cocaine, I thought it was 7 million pounds of cocaine.
Yeah.
So thank you, Jordan. And that Pro Bowler thing was like 12 years ago.
Yeah.
Can't live it down.
No, you cannot.
But it was pretty funny, I guess. And, you know, if I have to be known for making mistakes, I'd rather have it be that one than other mistakes I've made. No, we don't need to play anything. Don't look at him that way.
Christian, you got anything?
Ben, starting in...
you see him on PTI.
No, I hate this
legend. He's Woody Page with us here on the Jake and Ben Show on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
You know what I need?
I'm on around the horn, not pardon the interruption.
Yeah. Nobody cares.
Oh,
Woody.
apologies. No.
Hey, we should never have had that guy on in the first place. That guy hates our community. I don't like him personally. Enough to not know what show he's on.
You know, I told you I did radio in Washington, D.C. this morning.
Did you do Kornheiser's show?
No, I did. It's called The Junkies, is their show. And one of the guys kept correcting the other guy because he kept saying Carlos Boozer when he was trying to talk about Cam Boozer. And I thought that. I was like, oh, I know that dynamic. Not that I was going to correct you for Round the Horn or PTI, but.
Why that one? Ben, starting in 25 minutes, we have the Cavs and your Knicks. And let's see, what is the Magic Vegas prediction wizard have it at?
They've got the Knicks.
6.5.
Okay.
Bing bong.
So everybody's thinking the Knicks are going to roll. Everybody thinking Cleveland is tired. Any thoughts?
Cleveland's probably a little bit tired. I think on the other side, the Knicks are probably pretty rusty. Haven't played in a long time. Swept Philly. I can't remember the last time they played.
Oh, Cleveland barely had to play in Game 7. Why would they be tired?
Correct. They also ran over the Pistons. So I think that's a good point. And you know what both these teams have? Great depth. These are really good teams. And depth, I think sometimes people mistake depth for your 10th player off the bench. No, do you have 5 good starting players? Do you have 5 guys in your starting lineup who can all go off on any given night to win you a game? And both of these teams do. And then maybe you have a 6th man or a 7th man that are both capable of doing that. And I think the Knicks might have a little bit more depth than Cleveland on that front. But both these teams have a guy who can go. They have 4 guys on their team that could conceivably get 30 in a night, and be the reason you won a game. Jared Allen was a huge reason they won both of their Game 7s so far this playoffs when speaking of the Cavaliers. And the Knicks, we've seen Josh Hart out of nowhere can a bunch of threes, or Mikal Bridges lock up Jason Tatum and get a late stop to get them through the playoffs. So both these teams have depth. I like, actually, that while I think we're going to unfortunately dumb this down to Jalen Brunson versus Donovan Mitchell, I don't mean you. I mean, that's what the conversation I think is going to be nationally, because some of the people think, well, Donovan Mitchell can't go to the Knicks now because they've got Jalen Brunson. They simply don't need him. These are really cool, full rosters. And that doesn't mean I love every player. I'm not a huge Cat fan personally. I think some of these teams are very flawed. But I do like that this is like a pretty evenly matched series with good starting lineups. It kind of reminds me of 90s basketball. Well, there's definitely stars on the roster. All 4 or 5 guys really can play a good role.
The Donovan Mitchell thing to the Knicks is not going to happen.
Agreed.
Unless he's an old geezer. Why does it keep coming up? He might be like a geezer signing with the Knicks, like Donovan comes home. The Knicks aren't trading for Donovan.
No, I don't think so.
If they wanted Donovan, they would have traded for him when the Jazz were trading him.
Had the Nets had an opportunity this summer, maybe they would have gone after him, but I don't think he's leaving Cleveland. They're through to the conference finals.
Well, not unless they ask him to leave, which could happen.
Yeah, if they decided that, if he absolutely stinks it up this season or this series.
Or next year,
as
whatever.
We were talking to Nick Wilson, who's a host in Cleveland, a radio host in Cleveland, talking about kind of the mixed relationship there. What did he say? Donovan was about to sign a 5-year, $350 million contract? That's 70 a year on average? 60 a year on average? 7 a year, 70 million a year on average. Now, it matters what percentage of the cap more than the raw number,
It does.
But 70 million is a lot for Donovan. It's a lot of money. It's a huge investment for that type of player. So we'll see. Maybe there is a chance if they don't play well in this series, which I think they will. I think this is going to be a 6-game series at least. They're going to sign Donovan. He's going to be around. And no, the Nets will have missed whatever window might have made sense to bring him. Because at that point, he's going to be 32, 33, 34 by the time that thing's coming to an end and becomes tradable.
The key in this series is going to be keeping James Harden at the hotel when they're in New York.
For the Cavs.
For the Cavs.
I was going to say, yeah, for the Knicks. What are you talking? It's the exact opposite.
No. For the Cavs.
Lure him out.
No, they need to lock him in the hotel.
Glitter and donuts.
Yeah, right. Yeah, glitter and donuts, exactly. Wait, what's that? No, James, no!
Get out of the hotel as often as possible.
A little discipline from James Harden is going to be necessary.
It'll go a long way.
There's a pretty gal with a box of Krispy Kremes in the lobby. Don't let James near her! Stop it! We know who sent her.
So I'll be curious to see what comes of
it
this
is
series.
the honeypot.
I do
totally.
I do think the front court's going to matter.
She's got a bottle of vodka and some donuts. No, James, no! Sorry. You were trying to move on.
I think the front court's going to determine this series. I think while the guards are probably going to cancel each other out, Donovan and Jalen Brunson are both going to have 30 points and 6 assists, and they're going to do that most of the nights. And the wings are honestly probably pretty equal. The Josh Hart, Bridges contingency will match up pretty well with the James Harden contingency, and one will do more on offense and one will do more on defense. But on the flip side, what does the front court for the Knicks do? And I would include OG Anunoby into that because OG Anunoby's just an unreal defender, and he's going to be tasked with slowing down Evan Mobley. And Cat will probably be on Jared Allen some, or maybe they switch those guys around. But can the Knicks front court do enough defensively to prevent Mobley and Jared Allen from having a big series? And on the flip side, can they find a way to slow down Cat, who is an offensive hub? He's a very good offensive player. He's a terrible defensive player, but he's a great offensive player. And can they negate him, get him into foul trouble, get him into where the issues that he's had in the past that put the Timberwolves in a spot where they wanted to trade their former number 1 overall pick? Because it's possible to do. And whoever can do that, I think, is going to the finals.
I think Jared Allen, I've told you before, I think he might be the key to this series. I totally agree with you. Mobley, too. But you got to make, I think that's where the Knicks have a weakness. They've got a center who doesn't want to play center.
And along those lines.
And doesn't want to do center things.
News just coming out is that OG Anunoby is expected to play tonight. He was questionable.
Wow.
He's always hurt. He's just one of those guys. He rarely plays.
But he's a good player.
When he's on the court, he's really good. He's just rarely on the court.
But he is going to be tonight.
Yeah, and starting. So it's not just coming off the bench. So these are great series. I don't think tonight can even get close to living up to what we saw last night. But you and I said before we saw what happened between the Spurs and the Thunder that this was a pretty good billing. There was a reason that these 4 teams all played on Christmas Day. The NBA knew that these were marquee games, and they faced each other on Christmas, and it just so happens now they're playing in the conference finals. That's a good sign.
This is probably unfair, but I probably would have fired Jason Kidd just because of his choice of glasses.
You don't like the glasses?
The clear, glasses?
Clear frames?
I just, I don't know. He obviously can't afford Tom Ford's, or he would have gone that direction.
Not all of us can.
But
he didn't
And where is his glasses? He can't see without his glasses.
He didn't get tricked into wearing his glasses.
You like the clear ones or Captain Jack's red ones better?
The Sally Jesse Raphaels.
I don't like Captain Jack's either.
Christian, you've really taken to your glasses. Jake and I both got diagnosed with glasses. That's what I'm going to call it. Before you. You got assigned glasses also, and you wear them every day now.
Well, I'm going to get contacts.
Okay.
Listen, Christian
I actually hate them.
Christian was walking around nearly blind and didn't really know it, so he has to wear them. He's legally required to.
He's running over several people.
Mine, and this is just what makes the expense of my glasses so stupid. I just need reading glasses.
I'm with you. I use mine to read, unless there's a double overtime game on, in which there's no reading in the house. But I use mine to read. If I wear them any other time, my feet look like they're 1,000 miles away from my head. There's no way it's safer for me to drive in glasses that my depth perception goes all wonky.
Well, are you nearsighted or farsighted? This is very important
to
know.
That's why you wear them, because you get used to it.
Yeah, that's what they say. I don't believe it. I can't afford to hit 3 cars before I got used to it. Sorry. I didn't mean to.
I feel like
your
wearing
family.
my glasses more has made my regular eyesight with no glasses, I feel like it's made it worse.
Way worse. Of course it is. It's like wearing chapstick.
Oh, I can't even read anymore without my glasses. I'm just pretending to do it here with this monitor.
That's why you thought it was PTI.
Yeah, right. I'm just pretending to read over here. But yet, you two bullies are so bad with your stupid drop. I can't wear my stupid glasses.
And
God.
where is his glasses? He can't see without his glasses.
Hate this show so much.
You opened this segment by talking about how fun it's been.
Stay tuned. Yeah, and you ruined it. And you didn't even bring up a dead person this time, which is usually what happens.
Well, Macaulay Culkin's dead in that movie.
More next, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said.
If it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
Dedication isn't born in the light of day. It's carved in the quiet hours, before the world blinks awake. At Boar's Head, we rise with a mission to deliver craftsmanship worthy of your table. A slice of something special folded into every moment worth savoring. Because dedication means delivering only the very best. Boar's Head, committed to craft since 1905.
Kick off Memorial Day savings with up to an extra $1,000 off select top brand appliances like Frigidaire. Plus, get free delivery at the Home Depot. Stack your appliance lineup with a fridge with an extra large ice capacity and an oven with over 15 cooking modes. Then let the real MVP handle cleanup with a dishwasher's 50-minute wash cycle. Shop appliances at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 14th through June 3rd. U.S. only. Free delivery on appliance purchases of $998 or more. See store online for details.
Introducing Celsius Electric Vibe, a limited-time drop from the Celsius Vibe line. Get a kick of tropical fruit flavors that spark the senses, featuring bright pineapple, vibrant orange, bold cherry, and smooth grape notes. It's a crowd favorite that keeps the energy high from kickoff to the final whistle. Made with zero sugar, this smooth tropical freeze flavor brings intensity to every match, whether you're watching the game or hitting the pitch. Celsius Electric Vibe, energy for every goal. Try this limited edition flavor today while supplies last and enjoy the game.
Just doing it big, you know?
Your home for the best sports radio for your afternoon drive is right here. This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airwaves, talking sports. They got it made, Jake's and also loves his tie-dye. Ben's got style with his scarf. Oh my.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson. Christian put a nail in the Chiefs' contention hopes earlier in the show. Doesn't look good with Rashid Rice, does it?
No. Jail's bad.
He's going to jail for 30 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's a big deal he's missing off-season camp. But 30 days in jail, no thanks.
It's hard to be a true dynasty.
Oh, in football, it really is.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever served jail time and then had a productive NFL season afterwards?
Oh, yeah. Michael
Plenty.
Vick.
Yeah.
Dante Stallworth.
Yeah. Oh, and I'm sure the list goes way beyond that. DUIs, all sorts of stuff.
But Vic actually went to prison. I wonder how many people actually go to prison and then come back.
Yeah.
Going to jail is one thing, but going to prison,
Hard time.
doing hard time, and then coming back out. I bet that list is shorter. Like I don't think Ray Caruth is coming back anytime
Correct.
soon.
No. Though he's out, right?
Is he out?
I think he's out.
You know who Ray Caruth is, Christian?
There's like a whole story right now because his son, who I think was the kid who was in utero
when his mom died.
When his mom died at the hands of Ray Caruth, is alive. You know what I mean? And has had some developmental issues, but has become a Carolina Panthers huge fan, not because of his father.
I don't think I could be a fan of the Panthers. Could you?
Plaxico shot himself and went to jail, right?
He did. Did he? Did he go to prison? He might have gone to prison. You know that story? Plaxico Burress shoots himself in the leg.
Cheddar Bob.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, right. And ends up going. He go away for a year? No.
I think he at least got suspended for a year for taking a gun to the club and firing it.
Accidentally.
Neither here nor there.
Well, yeah, it is. There's a difference between trying to rob the club and just being an idiot.
Shot a gun in a club, but okay, I'll listen to you.
Yeah, but he's not holding up one of the dancers.
Jamal Lewis.
He didn't go to jail either.
Jamal Lewis didn't go to jail?
Oh, Jamal Lewis did for trafficking drugs. I was thinking of the linebacker, Ray Lewis.
Ray Lewis. No, Jamal Lewis. Also played for the Ravens.
Yeah, but at the same time.
Yeah.
They both won the Super Bowl. No, you're right about Jamal Lewis, but I don't think he came back and played after that.
Did he not?
I don't think so.
You might be right.
He was trafficking like a lot of cocaine.
Mm-hmm.
What's the running back for the Ravens? He didn't come back either. But I don't think he went to prison.
Ray Rice?
Ray Rice, yeah. But to come back and play, yeah, I don't know about that. But Rice isn't going to prison. He's just going to jail. I don't think they send you to prison if it's under a year.
You're probably right. I don't know. I've never been.
I haven't either. I wouldn't like to go. Have you seen the new prison here?
I haven't. I keep forgetting that it's just not in Draper anymore.
Oh, it's definitely not in Draper anymore. I'm with you. I haven't been out there. I wonder if the mosquitoes are as bad as they say.
You know what? Jamal Lewis did come back for a year.
Did he?
Mm-hmm. Came back for 1 year in 2006.
Does it say what he got arrested for?
He got arrested for... Oh, let me look. Apologies, I'm being slow here.
No, it was definitely drugs. I just wonder how much. Not 7 million pounds of cocaine.
Federal drug charges. Oh, good news. He was pardoned in February by the president.
By President Trump?
Uh-huh.
Oh. Okay. He was great at Tennessee.
Uh-huh. And was on the Super Bowl team in 2003.
Yeah, and
got
he was
arrested, went to jail, and then came back in 2006.
He was on Tennessee's national championship team, I think, too.
A winner.
A winner. Not in life, per se? Oh, I guess he is.
Maybe he is in life. He got pardoned. He's got a great book to write. So, anyways.
About running drugs while in the NFL?
Winning championships, becoming a kingpin, apparently, and getting pardoned. It's interesting. It's better than my book.
Hey, dude, Zach Randolph was moving all sorts of drugs, and nobody ever thinks about that with that guy.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't he the NBA's dealer or something like that?
Was he? That was his connection? It's not really a great thing to do.
Like that?
He also fought dogs, too, speaking of Michael Vick, and nobody even thinks about that.
Well, I don't condone any of this behavior.
Oh, dude, you're going to a dog fight today. That's what
That's
what you're doing after the show.
We have to record out the last hour. I've got a dog fight to get to.
If you could pick any two animals to watch humanely fight, what would it be?
Oh, it's got to be some type of sea creature.
Like a seal or something?
Swordfish? Like jousting?
Oh, that's kind of funny. Okay.
Yeah, water jousting.
Or like a marlin with the...
Yeah. Narwhal?
Okay. The unicorn at the sea? It's not the same animal fighting, but I always wanted to see the mongoose cobra standoff.
Oh, okay.
I tried to tell my kids about Ricky Tikki Tavi the other day. Did you ever watch that? You know what I'm talking about?
Nope.
That's crazy. I know what that is.
Do you know what that is?
This is probably the first time where I get a reference that one of you guys don't.
How about that? Yeah, I'd like to watch the mongoose cobra thing. For some reason, I'd like to see two squirrels fight.
Do you know where Ricky Tikki Tavi comes from? This is right up your alley.
Let's hear it.
The Jungle Book.
Oh, okay.
It first came out of the Jungle Book when that was published in 1894.
Out of the book.
Out of the book by Kipling. You have, if people don't know, this is not a bit, but it's been a reoccurring conversation on our show, is Jake hates the live action Jungle Book Not because the movie's bad, but because they changed the ending.
They ruined the whole message of the movie.
And it really grinds your gears.
It does. Well, don't mess with a great story. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, when Mary Poppins floats away, she doesn't get hit by a jet airliner or something,
right.
You know?
Correct.
Like, I think that happened in The Simpsons.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. We've got the 6 o'clock hour cut out straight ahead. Stay tuned, Jake and
Not
Ben.
me. I'm going to a fight.
97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Ready or not, summer is coming, and Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance is on now. Right now through May 25th, get up to 70% off everything home at Wayfair. Plus, score amazing doorbuster deals all sale long and surprise flash deals on Memorial Day. We're talking thousands of products at every style and budget. Now is the time to save big on must-haves for your patio, backyard, and beyond. These savings won't last, so don't wait. Shop Wayfair's Memorial Day clearance now through May 25th.
Wayfair, every style, every home.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.